Let us dive into this wild story where my fiancé and the fake heir were practically swallowing each other's faces right in front of my salad. I was absolutely furious. I shattered a wine bottle instantly, but they just laughed it off, claiming it was just a harmless game and calling me a total buzzkill. Watching this chaotic mess, I just let out a cold chuckle. Oh, so it is just a game, fine, let us start a brand new round. This time I conveniently lost on purpose. I boldly went for the ultimate truth or dare challenge, and my dare was to kiss a random girl. Chloe Willow sat comfortably on the sofa, looking incredibly smug. She probably assumed I would just crawl right back and pick her. Oh boy, she was about to be so disappointed. Without even a second glance, I walked straight toward Damon's absolute dream girl. His completely unattainable white moonlight, the gorgeous Serena Sterling. This bold move left Chloe and her mean girl squad staring with their jaws totally on the floor. Alex, what are you doing? Chloe is right there. Damon put on his best kicked puppy face, looking at me with completely fake tears. Brother, we were genuinely just playing a silly game earlier. Why will you not believe me? I just let out a cold laugh. With how you two were practically swapping souls, you would be rolling on a bed by now if one was here. And you call that a game? Do I look like a total clown to you, or am I just that stupid walking towards Serena? My eyes flicked over Damon's pretty boy face. Now watch this closely. His face twisted with pure rage, fists totally clenched and white. I was absolutely cackling inside. Wow. Boss Lady Serena has an aura that is no joke. I was not even close yet, and I felt like her intense gaze could slice me into sashimi anytime, despite totally panicking internally. On the outside, I played it so cool, acting like a guy absolutely not fearing for his life. Serena Sterling, the undisputed queen of the business world, looked at me with deep amusement, totally curious about my next move. I stubbornly marched right up to her. Do you remember me? Serena nodded her head. I remember running into you in the mountains. She smiled, flashing a look full of hidden meaning. Not wandering around looking homeless today. That exact sentence almost made my poor knees buckle. Does the queen always roast people so sharply? Last time you said if I ever needed a favor, I could come to you. Does that offer still stand? I asked her, putting on my most charming smile. Serena's friends exchanged bewildered glances, clearly sensing some juicy, mysterious tension between us. Chloe and her posse were totally dumbfounded. They definitely never expected a country bumpkin like me to actually be acquainted with the powerful head of the Sterling family. Seeing me casually chatting up his gorgeous goddess Damon's face turned a spectacular shade of green. I could guess exactly what he was thinking. How does a hillbilly fresh out of the mountains have the right to breathe the exact same air as Serena Sterling? Serena set her wine glass down and beckoned me over. I stepped closer. Looking at this flawless face up close, I totally fanboyed in my mind. Damn, her eyelashes are long. What skincare routine gives you skin this good? What do you need my help with? Serena asked, tilting her head slightly. I hesitated, wondering if I should just say, I need to kiss you. But what if she judo flipped me right out the window? You and I both know this is insane. I gritted my teeth, leaned down, and planted a quick kiss right on her lips. Oh my God. Serena's friends gasped in collective shock, rubbing their eyes. The absolutely untouchable Serena Sterling just got completely force-kissed. Was this kid about to be torn into 8 pieces? Having secured the kiss, I quickly spun around, ready to sprint for my life. But unexpectedly, she grabbed my collar and forcefully pulled me down onto the sofa right next to her. Serena looked at my flushed face, which literally wanted to merge with the floorboards. You kiss me, and now you want to run? She asked, narrowing her sharp eyes. I just gave an awkward, stiff laugh. I lost a stupid game. I had to. Seeing she was visibly unimpressed with my excuse, I quickly scrambled to explain. I do not even like that terrible girl anyway. Whoever wants her can take her. How could she ever compare to a queen like you? Serena chuckled. So you like me? I kept looking at her stunning face. I nodded furiously like a total woodpecker. Who would not like a gorgeous, villainous boss lady? Rumor has it her figure is an absolute hourglass masterpiece. I wonder if it is true. Serena's smile suddenly turned dangerous. It turned out she just confirmed she could literally hear my inner thoughts. She reached out, flicking my forehead hard. You little wolf cub. Kissing me was one thing, but now you are lusting after my body. I looked back at her entirely unrepentant. You and I both know that was a complete lie. Result, my academic admiration comment literally made her spit out a huge mouthful of her drink. She quickly waved her hand. You two carry on. Chloe, face dark as a storm cloud, stomped over and glared at me. Alexander Wood, what do you think you are doing? Get over here right now. Let us jump right in. Feeling totally fearless, I wrapped my arm around Serena's neck, blinking innocently. Miss Willow, it is just a game. Why the anger? I have not even kissed her properly right in front of you yet. Instantly, Damon looked absolutely furious. Alex, you are taking this way too far. Chloe and I were just playing. She is your fiancé. There is absolutely nothing happening between us. I rolled my eyes so hard they almost got stuck, my voice just dripping with pure sarcasm. Oh, so you actually remember she is my fiancé after playing tonsil tennis with her for one solid excruciating minute right in front of me. Why did you not think of that earlier? Are you upset because I kissed your precious little angel? Want me to kiss her again just so you can pass out from the shock? You completely shameless, two-faced little drama king, saying that I boldly turned around and bit Serena's lower lip. She just held my waist, looking down at me with a smirk. Alexander, has anyone ever told you that your audacity is off the charts? Without hesitating, I gently bit her lip one more time. Seeing her narrow her eyes and call me bold, I simply thought to myself, whoever claimed this queen was a ruthless tyrant. She is clearly gentle and easy to talk to. Seeing me kiss Serena again made Damien completely furious. His face turned bright red. He pointed a trembling finger straight at me. Alex, you cannot just grab some random woman for revenge. What you are doing is wrong. Chloe looked absolutely livid. Alexander would. I will say it one last time. Get over here. Sitting comfortably beside Serena, I played with her fingers and scoffed. Just who do you think you are? Do not forget I am your fiancé. Chloe gritted her teeth. I loudly burst out laughing, stood up, walked straight over and slapped her face hard. Smack! Damon shrieked, grabbing Chloe's arm frantically, asking if she was badly injured. Watch closely now. Seeing this touching melodrama unfold, I totally slow-clapped for them. Chloe froze, then awkwardly pushed Damon away. But Damon glared at me, full of righteous anger. Alex, why would you ever hit Chloe? Apologize to her right now and we can pretend this never happened. For the absolute sheer nerve, I mocked. Apologize and you forgive me. Without another word, I delivered a massive second slap to Chloe's other cheek. How is that for an apology? Did you enjoy that Chloe's friends finally snapped out of their shock, rushing to stand between us, loudly demanding why I got physical? I looked at them coldly and began listing off every single one of Chloe's absolute worst moments from the past few months. 3 months ago, while we were climbing a mountain, she got one single call from Damien and completely abandoned me halfway up. 1 month ago, during a torrential downpour, she dumped me on the side of the road because Damon had the sniffles, causing me to have a high fever for a whole week and almost catching severe pneumonia. Every birthday, every Valentine's Day, the exact moment we get a second alone, Damon's little phone call arrives perfectly on time to drag her away. Serena frowned, her voice totally icy. No wonder you looked so pathetic when I found you in the rain wearing a thin, soaked shirt covered in mud, totally barefoot and badly scraped by the sharp rocks. One of Serena's friends chimed in, this kid looks like a polite little scholar, but who knew he was actually a literal fire-breathing dragon. I spun around and slapped Damon right across the face for good measure. Do you just love stealing other people's girlfriends? You saw that too, right? Congratulations, keep this literal trash. Damien clutched his cheek, forcing fake tears into his eyes, still trying to argue that it was a simple misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? You faking an illness to call her away on my birthday is a misunderstanding. You pretending to be stalked on Valentine's Day is a misunderstanding. You sending me selfies of you two together just to provoke me? Do you seriously think my intelligence is in the single digits? Chloe glared at me, grinding her teeth. Alexander, you have gone completely crazy. What exactly do you want? I gave her a freezing side eye. As of today, our engagement is completely over. Tomorrow, I will have my parents visit to officially call it off. It is time your parents found out what you did behind the scenes. Chloe literally trembled with rage. This is an agreement between our two families. You dare to cancel the engagement? I would like to see what woman would ever dare marry you after this. My gaze landed right on Serena. I walked straight up to her. Boss, I am breaking off my engagement. Want to marry me? You and I both held our breath, but the queen did not even react. Serena raised an elegant eyebrow, looking me up and down. Marry you? What is in it for me? I tilted my head, giving her my brightest, most dazzling smile. You get a sweet, obedient husband who knows exactly how to keep your bed warm. You are definitely not losing out. She reached out and lightly pinched my cheek. You make a fair point, but it feels like I am taking a slight loss. After all, I would have to feed a lazy couch potato whose cooking skills are questionable and who does not like to work. Hey, you are totally amazing at making money. Should you not have someone help spend it? Let's dive in. Why work when you can be lazy? I instantly hugged her leg with maximum drama. Right. The Wood family genes carry twins. Who knows? Maybe you will have two perfect identical little babies someday. The hand squishing my cheek totally froze. We have not even dated and he is planning the baby nursery. This guy's mind moves at lightning speed. But honestly, the idea of two identical babies is actually pretty exciting to picture. She quickly checked her watch. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. If you are not at City Hall, expect to be tossed into the ocean for the sharks. So, do you agree? I just stared back at her with huge puppy dog eyes. Need me to repeat myself? No, nope, definitely not. I wildly shook my head in panic. Serena stood tall, grabbing my hand to leave, but Damon blocked our way, biting his lip and giving her a totally pathetic look. President Sterling, my brother, already has a fiancé. What he said was just an angry joke. I sincerely apologize for him right now. Watching Damien fake it, I instantly rolled my eyes. Is this guy actually panicking right now? Serena dropped her coat on my shoulders and coldly told him he was blocking the path. I totally laughed out loud at Damon's hilariously offended face. Oh wow, it seems like someone is acting totally delusional again. Watch closely now. Damon glared at me with absolute fury, his fists clenched tight. I stared back, faking total confusion. Do you not like Chloe? You two were kissing in front of a massive crowd. Now that I gladly handed her over to you, why are you not smiling? To help you out, I even scored a brand new fiancé. Damon's face instantly turned a dark, super ugly red. His crazy eyes locked onto Serena because with Serena Sterling standing right there, who would ever care about a fool like Chloe Willow? He would not even want 100 Chloes. He bit his tongue to stay calm. If you do, this will Mom and Dad even agree? He asked, giving me a disgusted look. Of course they will. I am their real biological son. You know exactly how much they adore me. That single sentence instantly turned Damon's eyes completely red. Since I came back to the Wood family, they never looked at him the same. Before, the absolute best of everything was completely his. Now he only gets the random leftovers I reject. Even the fancy luxury shower gel goes to him after I finish making my choice. Now whenever our parents bring gifts home, they strictly think of me. If he tried taking anything, Mother Wood stopped him cold, saying it was bought to make up for all the long years I lost. He was always the totally spoiled young master of the Wood family. But with our identities swapped, the family picking favorites made him want to explode from pure spite. I linked my arm with Serena and pulled her to the door. Let us go, boss! Damon looked absolutely furious. He secretly glared at Chloe angrily, wondering why he had to settle for the awful woman that Alexander happily tossed aside. Standing right by the car, I naturally reached out to open the back door. Do I look like your personal driver? You and I both felt that chill. Serena lowered her voice, so I quietly shut the back door, rushed to the passenger seat, and buckled up. This boss is terrifying. Am I going to get eliminated before the honeymoon even starts? Serena shook her head, totally amused. So cowardly, yet you dared to kiss me. Relax. I have zero intention of being left single on my wedding day. I tilted my head, staring at her in total confusion. What does that mean? Serena laughed softly, just reminding you. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. at City Hall. Need me to repeat it again? I vigorously shook my head. No need at all. Serena handed me her phone. With emotional tears in my eyes, I typed my contact info and added myself on her social media. Meanwhile, Damon had frantically chased us out. He saw me already sitting in Serena's car and driving away. Chloe ran outside a step too late. Spotting Damon's furious expression, she asked in total confusion, Damien, what is wrong? Damon forced a miserable look. Chloe, I need to go home first. What if my brother badmouths us to my parents? Chloe tightly hugged him, her face full of anger. Even though we were slightly wrong this time, it is fine if he gets mad, but do not worry. I will never let him bully you. Damon's eyes grew redder, playing the total victim role. It was just a harmless game. I do not know why Alex is making a huge deal. Internally, Damon felt smug, but outwardly he played the heartbroken saint. You are his fiancé, but he is just a bumpkin. He honestly does not deserve you. Chloe's eyes filled with massive contempt, acting like my arranged marriage to the Willow family was pure charity. She hugged Damon tightly to comfort his feelings. Do not worry, the one I truly like is you. Alexander is just an idiot. My engagement to him is strictly business. Damon lowered his head, a wicked flash of triumph in his eyes. Alexander would. So what if you are the real heir? Chloe still treats you like dirt. We will pause here. Do not speak about my brother, Damien said, faking kindness. Come along with me. In reality, he just dragged my name through the mud with her. Fine, let's totally ignore him, Chloe. I will drive you home right now before Alexander tries bullying you behind our backs. Later, Serena dropped me off outside the giant Wood family mansion. Right before getting out of the car, I suddenly leaned over, pecking her on the cheek. Like a startled rabbit, I quickly bolted out of the car, totally not forgetting to turn back and shout, "See you tomorrow, boss." Watching me hilariously flee in panic, Serena touched her kissed cheek, completely bursting out into laughter. What a coward. But just as she was about to drive away, she noticed another car approaching. In a total blink, it stopped right outside the Wood mansion. Chloe and Damon stepped out. Damon's eyes totally lit up, getting ready to step forward and greet Serena, but she simply stomped on the gas, completely driving off and leaving him eating her taillight dust. Damon bit his lip, practically overflowing with resentment. He genuinely never understood what he lacked against me. Why was I always allowed to get close to Serena while he got treated like a walking plague? Chloe walked right up to him, asking with total concern, "Do you want me to come inside with you?" Damien quickly shook his head until he successfully conquered Serena. He just could not afford losing his backup option. The moment I walked inside the house, I started talking to my sister Victoria. Suddenly, I heard a chilling voice completely filled with venomous hatred from behind. "Alexander, you absolute jerk! Why didn't you just vanish forever out there in those mountains?" Everything here was meant for me. I spun around instantly, locking eyes with Damien, who stood right by the door. He quickly lowered his head, but honestly, it was too late. That split-second glare in his eyes screamed he wanted me gone forever. He rushed home early, terrified I had snitched to our parents. I softly taunted him. Right at that moment, Victoria and my mother were stepping forward to properly greet Damon. Suddenly, their faces completely transformed. They stared at me in pure, absolute disbelief. Mother Wood realized I never even opened my mouth. "Now pay attention, things get wild here." While the 3 Wood family members reeled in absolute shock, my inner voice literally shattered their entire reality, revealing thoughts I never spoke aloud. Turns out Damon did not just secretly locate his biological parents long ago, but in the future he fully colluded with Chloe to completely destroy the Wood family. He even literally hired a truck driver to brutally hit my sister Victoria, completely disguising it as a drunk driving accident. Thinking about how genuinely kind Victoria is getting plotted against by this absolute snake, my heart literally aches. Right now, Victoria's hands shook completely uncontrollably. She really forced herself to stay entirely calm. Mother Wood gripped her husband's hand so intensely that Richard Wood actually frowned. Seeing his wife's panicked expression, Richard gently patted her hand for comfort, thinking, "These things have not happened yet. We still have a solid chance to change our family's fate." Damon, fully oblivious to the sudden drastic shift in the room's atmosphere, was still secretly planning his dramatic act. "I'll just pretend to be pitiful. These literal idiots will definitely soften their hearts. You saw that coming, right?" He immediately dropped to his knees for an Oscar-winning performance, but I totally beat him to it. "Mom, Dad, I want to cancel my entire engagement." Those words made Richard Wood instantly freeze. He couldn't help but look up at me, his face completely full of pure shock. "What Alex don't you love, Chloe?" I quickly threw a glance at Damien. His face stiffened for a microsecond before his whole body became super unnaturally tense. Freezing cold sweat dripped down his back from his heavily guilty conscience. "Yes," I said faintly, my voice carrying a suppressed edge. "But she was literally French, kissing another guy right in front of my face today and had the absolute nerve to call it just a game. She's literally treating me like an absolute fool." At this point, my voice choked up and tears I had ready on standby started rolling down my cheeks. This heartbreaking sight absolutely shattered my mother's heart. My dad urgently asked, "Alex, what exactly happened? Tell us clearly." "No, that's not true. It really truly isn't." Seeing the Wood family glaring at him with pure absolute fury, Damon panicked and started stuttering his pathetic defense. "We were honestly just playing a game. I swear it wasn't on purpose, but Richard Wood totally wasn't having any of his nonsense." Even if he couldn't hear my inner voice, he wasn't stupid. He absolutely exploded in anger. "So the one kissing Chloe was you?" Seeing the deep disgust on everyone's faces growing sharper, Damon frantically shook his head to salvage the situation. But I quickly cut him off with a chilling tone. "Not on purpose, huh? I coldly sneered, casually waving my phone in the air. I just so happened to have a crisp little surveillance video of the event. You wouldn't mind if I cast it to the television, would you? Wait, what video? What pure nonsense are you spouting? Damien stared at me like he was looking at a ghost. All color instantly drained from his face. His voice totally cracked into a sob as he begged Richard, "Dad, I beg you, please believe me. I was really just joking around with Chloe." But this time, Richard Wood was entirely disappointed in him. He said coldly, "Don't look at me. If there's a video, play it." He demanded everything exposed. "Let's watch this together. Let's jump into this masterpiece of revenge." Smiling like a boss, I cast the video to the giant TV, and the room went completely silent. On screen, Damien was totally and enthusiastically enjoying himself. The absolute smugness in his eyes just radiated off the screen. He had his arms wrapped around Chloe, smiling at her so gently. Then the two of them hugged and kissed passionately, completely acting like I did not even exist. But it gets even worse. The video showed their entire friend group totally insulting me, calling me super dramatic, laughing at my pettiness and telling me to just be open-minded. Talk about absolute shamelessness. The second that video finished, Richard Wood stepped up and delivered a massive slap right across Damien's face. Damien was knocked straight to the floor. For a moment, he was totally speechless, grabbing his face and staring at Richard in absolute shock. "Dad, you actually hit me. You still have the guts to call me Dad?" Richard's voice was trembling. He furiously pointed down at the guy on the floor. "Did you seriously not know Chloe is Alex's fiancée? You dare steal her right in front of him, putting on a show to humiliate my son publicly? What do you think this family is?" "No, Dad, wait, it is not like that." Damien desperately tried to explain, but he had absolutely no idea where to start. Mother Wood was way less forgiving. She screamed right at him. "You are absolutely disgusting. Are there 0 other women out there? You had to go and steal your brother's fiancée." I watched this entire messy scene unfold without saying a single word. Right then, a notification popped up on my phone and I clicked it. It was a brand new file sent by Serena. Another video clip. This one clearly showed Damien bringing Chloe to meet his biological parents. There were also several time-stamped photos of the two of them constantly sneaking into hotel rooms together. Watch closely now, this gets wild. Mom, Dad, Serena just sent another video. You definitely want to see this one. Then I hit play. Just like that, Damien, who was getting ready to argue, saw the undeniable evidence right on the screen. His lips trembled, his face turned pale white, and he could not speak a single word. I delivered the final strike. "If you actually think any of this is fake, go ahead and take it to a forensics lab. If I made it up, I will kneel down and apologize to you." That single sentence completely destroyed all of his escape routes. Richard Wood's chest was just heaving with pure anger. "Damien, since you have already found your biological parents, you are officially no longer a member of the Wood family. When we finally found our real son, I never once thought about abandoning you. After all, we raised you for 20 whole years, and how do you repay us? By purposely stealing my son's fiancé and humiliating him in public. Mom, Dad, please do not kick me out." Hearing Richard actually tell him to leave, Damien completely panicked. He knew very well that the Fang family, his real relatives, could not even compare to the Wood family's massive wealth. Plus, the Fang family only cared about making money. If he actually went back to them, he knew exactly what his future would look like. He would just be a pawn for them to use and sacrifice for business deals. He would walk away with absolutely nothing. Right then, Richard's voice was cold and firm. "I am not your father. Get out, pack your clothes, and do not even dream of taking a single penny of anything else." Damien's eyes filled up with grievance. Staring at the Wood family's ruthless expressions, his tears finally fell. "Can you believe this guy?" He bit his lip and sobbed. "I am your son too. Why are you treating me like this?" His angry voice did not soften Richard at all. Richard just sneered. "Just the simple fact that you stole your brother's fiancé and spend every single second plotting against him, is that not enough?" Richard coldly continued. "Honestly, at first we did not plan on kicking you out, but you just could not appreciate what you had. The video evidence is completely crystal clear, yet you still have the nerve to ask why." Hearing those words, Damien's face turned bright red with pure anger. He screamed at the absolute top of his lungs. The video, you guys wanted to kick me out a long time ago, did you not? Now you are just using this as an excuse to act like I committed some massive, unforgivable sin." His completely unhinged behavior only annoyed Richard more. He pointed straight toward the door. If you do not want to pack your bags, fine. Get out right now. Stop polluting my vision. Damien's face went completely pale. He suddenly realized that the designer clothes, luxury bags, and premium watches he kept in this house were worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. How could he possibly leave all that behind? He instantly dropped his aggressive attitude, forcing himself to look weak and pitiful. Dad, you raised me for over 20 years. How could you really just throw me out? Richard glared at him, absolutely trembling with pure rage. If you had remembered even a tiny fraction of gratitude for how we raised you, you would not have bullied your brother repeatedly, making me this incredibly disappointed in you. As soon as Richard finished talking, I could not help but laugh sarcastically. Damien, even right now, you have the nerve to blame me. Think about it. What did I ever steal from you? You stole my entire life. I am the true Wood family son. And trust me, you will love what happens next. Trust me, you and I are diving into a wild showdown. Was it me who paraded your fiancé around, yet you still dare call yourself entirely innocent? My fierce words landed like a massive boulder, unleashing an absolute tidal wave of pure fury inside the Wood family. Richard frowned, his deep voice heavily interrogating. Damien, 3 years ago when you asked the Fang family for that big partnership on our behalf, did you already consider them your real family? He paused, eyes darkening as a much deeper realization hit him. No, definitely not just 3 years ago. You simply could not pull off all these massive stunts in that short time. It must have been way earlier. Hearing this, everyone's spine went totally cold. Richard laughed self-deprecatingly, his tone razor-sharp. My entire family played the fool, completely oblivious while raising a literal backstabbing traitor. Damien, you have truly opened my eyes. Damien's legs instantly gave out, collapsing to his knees right in front of Richard. Grabbing his pant leg, he desperately cried out, I truly know I was wrong. Please give me just one more chance, Dad. But Richard violently yanked his leg back, coldly cutting him off. From this exact moment on, you are not my son. Anything belonging to the Wood family, do not even dream of taking a single dime. Richard left absolutely zero room for negotiation. Now watch closely. Absolute panic consumed him. Being expelled was bad, but leaving empty-handed. No designer clothes, zero luxury bags returning to the Fang family completely broke. How could he possibly accept this reality? He trembled and dramatically sobbed. Dad, I am begging you. Just one more chance. But facing the cold, unyielding eyes of the Wood family, he found absolutely nothing. A freezing despair completely washed over him. Butler, escort young Master Fang out, Richard ordered decisively, drawing an absolute permanent line right there. While Damen was being forcefully dragged away, he whipped around, glaring at me incredibly fiercely. The pure venom in his eyes was palpable. Alexander Wood, the Wood family will eventually be mine. Do not get too arrogant now. His inner voice dripped with massive hatred, but I just offered him a faint, mocking little smile. Young Master Fang, since you are no longer part of the Wood family, please stop using our family name for your dirty work today. Having his petty scheme completely exposed by me, Damon was so enraged he lost his mind. He turned back, screaming loudly. Who cares about your stupid name, Victoria replied coldly. You had better walk your talk. Damon felt a sharp chest pain, absolute rage rushing straight to his head. Unable to contain his fury, he glared viciously at Victoria, looking ready to absolutely tear her apart. Victoria, I have been so incredibly nice to you and you still dare treat me exactly like this. If you refuse to be my premium pet, then you can completely get lost. Did you guys catch that Damon's inner thoughts suddenly exploded in my mind? Honestly, without this power, I never would have guessed his horribly twisted fantasies about our very own sister. He seriously wanted Sister Victoria to be his total lapdog. At his every beck and call, I looked awkwardly at Victoria, wondering how to relay this highly horrifying info. Victoria immediately noticed my gaze, getting massive goosebumps. If you have something to say, just spit it out. Why are you looking at me so weirdly? I coughed awkwardly, staying silent while my mind raced incredibly wildly. Damon literally wants you as his servant. Do you know Damon is completely lusting after your body? Do you? As my brain went into total overdrive, the expressions on Victoria and my parents suddenly froze in place. They stared at me totally blankly. Did they hear that right? Damon liked Victoria? No, he wanted Victoria as his completely submissive lapdog. Victoria's eyes suddenly blazed with pure, unadulterated rage. Damon, you absolute massive creep. Suppressing her anger, she walked over, saying, Little brother, if Damon ever tries bullying you again, you tell me right away. I gave Victoria a deeply meaningful look. Sis, you should be extremely careful. I definitely feel the way Damon looks at you is super creepy. Dropping that intentional hint worked. Richard immediately chimed in quickly, coughing to clear his throat. Your brother is absolutely right. We should all stay careful around that kind of person. After everything happening today, Richard saw right through Damien. The boy was a completely ungrateful, useless parasite. No matter how amazingly the Wood family treated him previously, the exact second he did not get his way, he would totally turn his back, despise them, and plot absolute ruin. Meanwhile, Chloe waited outside the grand Wood mansion gates. Seeing Damon running out looking totally lost and devastated, she instantly stepped forward, hugging him tightly. Damien, what happened? Why are you crying so hard? Damien buried his face in her chest, violently sobbing uncontrollably while refusing to speak. Chloe kept pushing. Damien, what exactly went wrong? Do not just cry. Tell me. Damon choked out dramatically. What did I even do? Mom and Dad are kicking me out. Hearing this, Chloe's anger completely exploded, her face darkening. She turned around, marched straight to the front door, pounding on it wildly. Alexander, you better get your butt out here right now. Hearing her screaming, I caught Damien's highly smug, calculating thoughts. So what do we think? I will simply let Chloe's thick skin handle this mess. Watch this closely. I just let out a cool laugh and marched right into the kitchen. I casually grabbed a huge basin of freezing cold water, totally ready to welcome Chloe Willow. Seeing me acting so calm and chill, Victoria and Richard completely cracked up and followed me out to the door. Chloe was still banging on the door. The second it swung open, she geared up to unleash fury. But before she could even squeak, I dumped that entire basin of freezing water right over her head. This girl who had been acting all high and mighty instantly turned into a totally soaked rat. Damien, who had been secretly gloating nearby, saw this and his face morphed into pure shock. He screamed, Alex, what are you doing? I did not even bother looking at him, just saying flatly, was Chloe not running a fever? I am just helping her cool off. Hearing that Chloe completely lost her mind, she raised her hand ready to strike me. Alexander Wood, you jerk! Get on your knees and apologize to me right now. At this very moment, Damien looked even more excited than her, literally praying Chloe would land that slap squarely on my face. Now pay attention here. He was completely overthinking things. I easily caught Chloe by the wrist and delivered an epic backhand slap to her face. I smacked her so hard her head spun for a few seconds. She stared at me completely blankly, like she was seeing a monster. Has Alexander totally changed? Where did that pathetic guy who followed me around begging for attention go? I rubbed my stinging palm and smirked. Your skin is really thick. Slapping you is not even satisfying. Chloe trembled with rage. But seeing Victoria, my parents, and several massive bodyguards slowly stepping out of the house, she instantly lost all of her nerve. She did not dare scream anymore, just cursing me internally. Alexander, you absolute loser. How dare you humiliate me in front of Damien? Wait until we marry. I will make you pay. Looking at her, a cold smile tugged at my mouth. Is this girl daydreaming? I have genuinely never seen anyone this totally delusional in my life. Chloe, completely ignoring my sarcasm, kept up her weird, preachy tone. Alexander, I know you are just jealous, but Damien and I are strictly friends. Hurry up and apologize and we can put this whole mess behind us. Her words literally made me want to gag. Unable to hold back, I delivered a solid kick to her stomach. That kick sent her sprawling backward, curling up like a shrimp as she tightly clutched her stomach. How is that for an apology? I asked coldly. She pointed a trembling finger at me, face bright red, vocal cords totally straining. Alexander, you total coward! You dared hit me! If you do not kneel and beg for forgiveness today, you can forget about marrying me. I just rolled my eyes, genuinely super amused. Could you please stop starring in your own imaginary little soap opera? Go splash some water to sober up. Your brain is beyond saving. Those words made Chloe and Damien look incredibly bitter. Damien looked at me with deep suspicion. What is wrong with Alexander? Was he not just a lovesick fool before? Why exactly is he acting out of character today? We both saw this coming. He secretly wondered what I experienced, totally unaware I heard his every thought. Chloe still tried keeping up her act, urgently saying, Alexander, apologize and I will forgive you. I sneered and simply replied, get lost. Since things reached this point, there was nothing left to say. I looked at Damien with a totally lukewarm tone. I canceled my engagement with Chloe. Are you satisfied? From now on, you do not have to sneak around. You can openly take Chloe to meet your biological parents. No problem. But remember, you are no longer part of the Wood family. Stop using our name out there in the world. Damien immediately panicked, his eyes quickly brimming with fake tears. He turned to Richard and the rest, his voice filled with grievance. "Mom, Dad, do you really not care about me anymore?" Richard looked absolute ice cold, his voice even colder. "Do not call us Mom and Dad. We do not deserve to be your parents." Hearing this, Chloe immediately got super defensive. She stepped forward, pulling Damien right behind her. "Excuse me, even if Damien is not your biological son, you still raised him. How can you treat him like this?" Victoria just shot her a mocking glare. "Since you know we raised him, tell me, how did he repay us by bullying my little brother, stealing his fiancée, and humiliating him in public? Is this what a good brother should ever do?" Chloe choked up but stubbornly replied, "That was my own issue. I was the one who wanted to play a game with him. It had absolutely nothing to do with Damien." Victoria scoffed. "Crystal clear. Then if it was truly your issue, why are you still clinging to my brother? Plus, since when is it your place to dictate the Wood family and our internal affairs?" At this, Chloe was utterly speechless, just standing frozen in place. "That is where we leave it." Damien turned pale and yanked her arm. "Chloe, let's go. Stop causing trouble. Stick with me here, guys." As he dragged her away, he gritted his teeth in pure rage. He thought, just wait. Wood family, you will beg on your knees and I will never forgive you. I just gave a cold little smile as he walked away. "You want us to kneel, hilarious? Do you actually think you are the main character here?" Chloe still tried, dropping one final pathetic threat. "Alexander, do not regret this. I just lifted the empty water basin and barked scram." She glanced at her soaked clothes, then at my empty basin, and finally kept quiet. Grabbing Damon, she scrambled right away like a totally defeated, miserable puppy. The exact second those two left, absolute panic hit me hard. Only one crazy thought looped in my brain. How on earth do I tell my parents I am registering my marriage tomorrow morning? Before I could even form a plan, all three Wood family members turned perfectly in sync, totally staring a hole straight through my soul. They stared like they expected me to magically bloom into a shiny flower. That super intense gaze seriously gave me major goosebumps. I swallowed hard and cautiously asked Mom, "Dad, why are you staring at me?" My sister Victoria loudly ground her teeth together like she was literally chewing on solid gravel. "You are hiding something from us, right?" I almost shook my head, but honestly, I knew I had to confess the truth sooner or later. Might as well rip the Band-Aid right off. "Let us head inside and I will explain everything." Victoria huffed, spinning around and stomping straight inside. My parents exchanged a quick look and silently followed right behind me. Once we were all sitting in the completely silent living room, I finally spoke up, my voice as tiny as a little mosquito. "Huh. Just hypothetically speaking, if I completely swapped brides, would you guys be okay? Now watch closely, guys." The second those words dropped, my mom glared like headlights. Staring any harder, she would totally burn a hole straight through my skull. If the girl had actually been there, my mom probably would have grabbed a huge broom and chased her away. "Who is it, Serena Sterling?" The room completely froze for several long seconds. Victoria and Richard stared at me like they had just seen a literal ghost. "Who did you just say?" They stared like I was having some absolutely crazy delusion. "Serena Sterling, the actual head of the Sterling family," I stubbornly explained. "The big boss herself." Victoria reached over, physically feeling my forehead. "Little brother, how much did you drink?" I smacked her hand away, rolling my eyes. "I am completely normal. Normally, you guys are super smart. Why is your reaction speed taking a massive detour around the globe today? I am completely sober. Tomorrow at 9 a.m., she is literally coming to pick me up." Richard and everyone else stared like I was some weird alien specimen. Their faces showed a totally wild mix of indescribable shock. It looked like I had been abducted by aliens or something. I almost explained more when my mom suddenly spoke up. "Alex, tell me exactly what happened." She spoke super gently, holding back my furious sister and dad. She seemed weirdly calm. I nervously scratched my nose, my face showing pure absolute awkwardness, and slowly stuttered my way through the entire story. "So today we lost a game, my brain basically short-circuited, and I kissed her twice." I paused right there, gathering all my courage before continuing. Then I said I wanted to cancel the engagement with Chloe. She made a super snarky comment about who would ever dare marry me after that. So I casually asked Serena, and she said yes. My voice got quieter and quieter while watching their faces turn unbelievably theatrical. "You saw that too, right?" Their faces completely morphed like a magic show. "Mom, Dad, you do not mind if I swap brides to the ultimate boss lady, right?" I asked them, feeling extremely anxious. They had stayed totally silent for way too long. What if they were furious? My mom sat totally stunned for a second, then suddenly stood up, walking straight upstairs. My heart instantly dropped. I panicked, whispering, "Dad, Mom is not actually furious, is she?" My dad pursed his lips, ready to talk. But then my mom came back downstairs holding something, her expression looking incredibly highly secretive. My dad stared at the item in her hand. "Wait, is that our family register?" She literally shoved the family register right into my hands, patting my shoulder super meaningfully. "Alex's son marrying someone like Serena Sterling is the absolute jackpot. Mom completely supports you." I was totally dumbfounded. Wait, what is actually happening? I stiffly turned my head toward my dad, eyes practically screaming, "Dad, control your wife." But surprisingly, my dad just cowardly shrugged, looking totally helpless. "Son, I truly did not want to see you get married this early. But if the bride is Serena Sterling, I completely support this with both hands and feet. After getting the certificate tomorrow, make sure to ask when she is free for dinner." I mentally collapsed on the spot, holding that family register like a dangerously hot potato. My mom happily added, "You should really thank Damon. If he had never stolen Chloe, how could you possibly marry into the legendary Sterling family? Mom, please spare me the gratitude." I rolled my eyes, shooting back super sarcastically. "So what do you guys think? If I actually marry the big boss tomorrow, Damon will totally explode from pure rage." Let's jump right in. The queen was his absolute dream girl, the only one he truly wanted. Victoria, who originally opposed my marriage to Serena, heard my whole logic and totally flipped. She actually said, "I am a seriously perfect match for President Sterling. Do not be late tomorrow and make sure you dress sharp." I just gave this awkward little laugh, retreated straight to my room, and locked the door. My brain went into total overdrive. Damon and his main character plot armor, seriously, no joke. With Chloe totally wrapped around his finger, who knew how many elite women would throw themselves at him next? I really needed a careful plan to completely strip away all of his insane plot armor. Meanwhile, Serena finally returned to Villa Number 1. Walking right into the living room, she spotted several close friends just chilling on her sofa. She casually tossed her coat onto a chair and lazily leaned back. "Why are you all here?" They simply smirked, saying they heard she was hitting City Hall with that kid tomorrow. One of them just had to ask, "Do you actually like him?" Serena leaned back lazily and replied, "Not exactly love, but I do not hate him. He is super interesting, totally unique." Her friends exchanged looks and finally conceded, saying, "That is not bad." "But hasn't the Sterling family always pushed you toward a strict political marriage? If you do this, they will never accept it." Serena smirked. "I hold my own household register. Why should I care what they think?" Before long, everyone headed out, leaving Serena completely alone. She sat on the sofa, just replaying the evening. Thinking about the wild things I said earlier, she actually lowered her head, and her lips twitched right into this totally uncontainable huge smile. Watch closely. She finds that impulsive kid totally hilarious. Maybe someday we really will have adorable twins together. Realizing exactly where her wild thoughts were heading, she totally jumped in shock. Since when is my mind being completely dragged around by him? Shaking her head helplessly, she grabbed her coat and went straight upstairs to shower. Later, wrapped up in a towel, she stepped out of the bathroom and walked straight over to the floor-to-ceiling window. Staring at the night view reflected in the glass, a faint smile gently graced her lips. Entering her bedroom, she sat down on the bed, knocked out some work on her tablet for a bit, and finally slept. The very next morning, right at 7 a.m., my mom literally dragged me out of bed. I yawned, stood up, washed my face, and checked myself in the mirror. Yep, the outfit is looking absolutely immaculate today. I checked the time. It was already past 8 a.m. I quickly grabbed my bag, shoved the family register right inside, and sprinted downstairs. The second I hit the ground floor, I spotted Serena sitting in the living room, just casually chatting away with my dad. I tilted my head, looking at her in total confusion. What is happening? Why is she here? Recognizing my footsteps so early, Serena looked up at me. She simply stared at me for a good while. "I know what you are thinking." Her intense gaze made me totally self-conscious. "Is my outfit weird? Why stare like that, unable to resist?" I rolled my eyes and glared back. Serena just laughed, stood up, and walked over, carefully inspecting my sharp suit. "Little kid." I ignored her, pouting my lips in total disdain, but still muttered, "I am 23. Okay, who are you calling a little kid?" She kept calling me that, and it seriously ticked me off so much I almost wanted to throw hands. But before I even could, my dad's booming laugh suddenly interrupted us. "Alex, stop messing around and come eat breakfast. Serena has been waiting for you." "Fine, consider yourself lucky today." I shot Serena a side eye, intentionally scowling hard to try and intimidate her. Who knew she would just look at me like some adorable pet? The corners of her mouth were clearly showing a playful, teasing smirk. At the dining table, I casually asked, "Have you eaten breakfast? If you have, please take your time." With that, I did not stand on ceremony, simply sitting down and focusing entirely on destroying my bowl of congee and steamed buns. She quietly watched me, looking totally relaxed and at ease. Occasionally, I felt her gaze sweeping right across my face. When my cheeks puffed out from chewing, I completely swore I saw her fingers twitch. Does she seriously want to pinch my cheeks? Having eaten my fill, I put down my chopsticks and looked up at her. "Let us go." She nodded, stood up, and turned to say goodbye to my dad. "Uncle, we will be heading out now." Once in the car, I looked at her, my voice full of pure curiosity. "Why didn't you tell me you were coming?" she replied nonchalantly. "I texted you. You are the one who never replied." I quickly pulled out my phone to double-check. Sure enough, there was an unread text message from her sitting right there. I scratched my head, trying to remember. Oh, right. I think I was taking a shower when she sent it. I simply gave her an innocent and totally apologetic smile. The very next second, she slowly spat out 2 words. "So stupid. You have got a really toxic tongue. You know that. Careful or you will not be able to find a husband," I retorted, rolling my eyes. She glanced at me and then suddenly smiled. "Trust me on this one." She reached over, pulled my seatbelt, carefully buckling me in. Her lazy voice suddenly sounded incredibly serious. "Stick with me. I only need one husband anymore would be a nuisance." Caught me totally off guard. I honestly could not think of a single comeback. Suppressing the rising anger in my chest, I just pouted in completely frustrated silence, rolling my eyes right at the window. On the way, I babbled about random things. Serena stayed quiet, but whenever I threw a topic her way, her responses were always incredibly sharp, perfectly on point and polite, yet always keeping that commanding aura. She truly lived up to her boss lady title. Compared to that flashy, superficial Chloe Willow, Serena was on a completely different, infinitely higher level. She tilted her head to glance at me, expression calm as a deep, unreadable lake, showing absolutely zero emotion. By the time we approached City Hall, I was still in incredibly high spirits. But the exact second we walked through those doors and I saw Damien standing there, my mood instantly plummeted straight into the abyss. This guy really is like a lingering ghost. I cursed internally, furrowing my brows as I glared right at him. Serena followed my gaze and saw Damien standing there looking incredibly pitiful, like a fragile white lotus flower, the absolute pinnacle of delicate vulnerability. After parking the car, Serena just said flatly, "Let's go." She stepped out and completely naturally reached out to hold my hand, smoothly leading me into the lobby. In that exact moment, a warm flutter bloomed in my chest. I ducked my head down, secretly smiling like a total softie. Now watch this. The second President Sterling walked into the lobby, Damien actually called out to stop her. I rolled my eyes hard. This guy really knows how to cause a massive scene. Predictably, he put on his little pitiful act and blocked our path. President Sterling. "I have something I urgently need to say to you." Serena simply kept her hands in her pockets, sweeping a completely freezing glance over him. Her eyes practically screamed 3 massive words, "Get the hell away!" Then her low, icy voice dropped a sentence that absolutely made me burst out laughing. I immediately clung to Serena's arm, intentionally leaning into her, and looked right at Damien with a teasing voice. "Aren't you here to register your marriage with Chloe? Where is she? Why isn't she here with you today?" Damien's face instantly turned a totally sickening shade of green. The fire of fury ignited in his chest, lips pressed tightly together, and his deeply hateful gaze stabbed right into my face. The sheer anger and deep unwillingness on his face were crystal clear to me. Alexander doesn't deserve Serena. She obviously belongs to me. His eyes seemed to be screaming it, but those petty, pathetic calculations only looked extremely laughable to me. I squeezed Serena's hand tighter, deliberately, whining out loud. "I'm just so sleepy. From now on, you're not allowed to wake me up this early." Serena looked down, smiling gently as she ruffled my hair. Her voice carried a hint of unmistakable pampering. "All right, after we get the certificate, we'll go home and you can completely catch up on your sleep." "Hey, don't mess up my hair, you're ruining my styling." Seeing my ruffled, agitated state, she couldn't help but laugh. "You look just like an angry poodle." As she spoke, she reached out and fixed my hair, her voice still totally nonchalant. "All right, enough playing around here. Let's go in." "You saw that, right?" From beginning to end, she honestly didn't spare Damien a single solitary glance. I proudly turned my head, shooting Damien a look full of mocking laughter, and waved right at him. You just take your sweet time waiting for Chloe. We're heading in first. That mocking tone made his face cycle rapidly between green and white. He looked exactly like he wanted to say something, his lips parting slightly, but Serena had already pulled me straight toward another entrance. Throughout the entire encounter, she seriously avoided Damien like the plague. When we finally walked out of the lobby holding our bright red marriage booklets, Damien's face was so completely dark it looked like it was about to drip ink. For a split second, I honestly thought he was going to lunge forward violently, snatch my marriage certificate, and rip it to absolute shreds. Anyway, do you need to go back and pack anything? Serena asked, breaking my train of thought. I just stared at her, totally bewildered. Are you kidding me? I'm moving in with you and you can't even buy me some new clothes. You actually want me to go back and pack my old stuffs? Her perfect image as the generous sugar mommy boss lady collapsed instantly. She paused, then pinched the bridge of her nose, her voice heavily laced with total exasperation. I meant things like your computer. Do you need to bring that? Hearing this, I finally realized my stupid mistake. But seeing Damien still hovering nearby out of the corner of my eye, I deliberately raised my voice up. Never mind. I don't need any of that old stuff as long as you buy me some new ones. Serena seemed to immediately catch on to my petty little scheme, replying smoothly. Then let's head to the mall right now. Pick whatever you like. My eyes lit up like fireworks. I immediately dragged Serena away, leaving Damien without an ounce of dignity. Alexander Wood, you absolute bastard, I will not let you get away with this. Damien's teeth-grinding voice echoed loudly behind us. You and I saw him lose. I threw him a casual side eye, giving a provocative smirk. Not let me get away with this, watch me. Let's dive right in. Serena completely ignored Damon and his hateful glare. Instead, she looked down at me with a faint, totally condescending smile. He is just a clown jumping around for attention. Why are you even watching him? I blinked, screaming inside with pure admiration. As expected from the ultimate boss lady, one sentence, absolute critical hit. But honestly, the whole scene was just undeniably epic. Serena and her icy composure proved that main character plot armor means absolutely nothing when you are standing face to face with a true boss. She lowered her eyes, pretended nothing even happened, held my hand tight, and walked right out of City Hall. Damien was left behind, literally trembling. On the way, I casually asked if she was coming over for dinner tonight. Serena barely looked up, casually saying yes, and we will tell your parents you are moving in with me. I completely froze, gasping inside. Wow, the boss lady is truly experienced. She does not act like a shy newlywed at all. She moves like an old married couple. But thinking about it, I felt a serious surge of excitement. Living together actually sounded great. Plus, Damon would completely lose his mind if his secret spies caught us and he found out the truth. Trust me, he would absolutely explode with jealousy. Picturing that scene makes you and I want to laugh. Later at the mall, I picked out a massive mountain of accessories and casual clothes. Reaching to pay, Serena smoothly pulled out a sleek black card, handed it right over, and coolly dropped a single word swipe. I stared at the card, double-checked to make sure it was completely real, and finally took it with a very provocative raised eyebrow. Do not blame me, I am maxing this baby out. She chuckled, nodding in approval. Highly ambitious. Somehow her tone sounded like a very genuine compliment. She really lived up to that generous boss lady title. Right after that, we hit up multiple furniture stores, buying everything from toothbrushes to cozy slippers. Finally, we ended up at a designer boutique, watching those receipt totals climb endlessly. I suddenly felt pretty embarrassed. So I picked out some comfortable loungewear as a sweet gift for her. By the end of the day, our massive loot was piled incredibly high. But what really shocked me was Serena following me around all day long without uttering a single word of complaint. Her patience was absolutely staggering. Out of pure embarrassment, I quickly picked out a few more sets of home clothes and cozy outfits as a massive thank you. Back at the Wood family mansion, Mom prepared a lavish feast. After eating, Serena smoothly brought up the big subject with my parents. Mom, Dad, I want Alex to move in with me tonight. You and I both knew Mom was prepared, but hearing it out loud still made her pause, looking slightly disappointed. I immediately comforted her. Mom, we can visit whenever we want. We will absolutely come back for dinner when we are free. I can even stay over sometimes, right? I secretly nudged Serena, begging for backup. Sure enough, my incredibly reliable boss lady immediately nodded along. Seeing that, Mom softened up completely. She gave some quick instructions, reminding us to visit often. That night, I packed a few clothes quickly, threw my bags together, and finally left with Serena. Pulling into Villa Number 1, the massive mansion was visually magnificent, but it felt incredibly cold and totally sterile. I followed her inside, stepping into her room. Looking around, I just had to complain. This place literally looks like a model home. Zero warmth at all, especially that massive balcony. Completely empty. What a waste. Serena did not mind. She leaned against the doorframe, quietly watching me snoop around, poking and prodding at every single thing. Finally, she just shook her head. Walking deeper inside, she suddenly grabbed my wrist, pulled me close, and raised an eyebrow. "Do you hate it that much?" I nodded honestly. "I hate it." Serena unexpectedly shoved a black card into my hand, speaking generously. "Then decorate it however you want. Really, I can change absolutely anything." My eyes sparkled with excitement, staring eagerly. "As long as you do not paint it pitch black, I have zero objections." That made me cover my mouth, bursting into laughter. Why would I paint it black? Just thinking about that gives me total goosebumps. Serena stood steps away, hands pocketed, her mouth curving into this deeply meaningful smile as she watched. Startled, I instantly went on high alert, preparing to sneakily make a quick escape. But before taking a step, I felt a powerful pull on my waist. She abruptly yanked me back. "What are you doing?" I stammered. Looking up, I met those deep, mesmerizing eyes. "I heard you talk big," she whispered. I panicked, shaking my head. "Trust me, you and I want to see what happens next. Let us dive into a totally unpredictable romance." I heard her deny it, and the next second, she forcefully shoved me straight back onto the bed. The action was incredibly quick, leaving me totally stunned and wondering what was going on. Trapped on the mattress, my mind went completely blank. I attempted to rise, but she deliberately leaned over, trapping me so firmly that I could not budge at all. Turning totally crimson, staring at her stunning features up close, I frantically stuttered a warning to not try anything wild. She just laughed softly, radiating a dangerously playful vibe, while asking if I felt terrified. That sound, mixed with her being way too close, gave me serious chills. I pushed back with all my strength, but she just pinned me down harder. My mind completely snapped. Out of nowhere, I grabbed her neck, pulled up, and forcefully kissed her. That sudden move did not just surprise her, it absolutely stunned me. Who knew getting mocked would spark such an aggressive counterattack? But honestly, the hilarious part is my brave little moment faded in 2 seconds before I totally panicked. I scrambled to back off, but she was too fast, clamping her hand right onto the back of my neck. Her grip was intense and commanding, leaving me entirely breathless. When she finally released me, I was heavily gasping for air. In a total daze, I touched her cheek and mumbled about whoever claimed my wife disliked guys. I seriously needed to sue them for spreading lies. As soon as that slipped out, I snapped back to my senses and waved my hands in panic. I swore I said absolutely nothing. Serena responded with this low, rich laughter. It was incredibly attractive and literally covered my entire body in goosebumps. "Watch closely here." She fixed her sleeves and casually dropped an absolute bombshell before exiting. Promising to handle me later that night, she left me totally stunned on the mattress, gasping. I mindlessly brushed my lips where she had just struck. An amusing thought suddenly crossed my mind, and I just could not stop myself from grinning widely. If Damon found out about this, he would be furious enough to stay awake for days. I flipped over, snagged my device, and began swiping away. Spotting Damon's contact number on the screen, a wonderfully wicked idea suddenly hit me. Tossing my device away, I got up and began sorting through the huge pile of stuff I bought. Right then, Serena strolled in holding some milk. She casually ordered me to drink up. Without lifting my gaze, I just hummed to show I heard her. Only after finishing my chores did I finally notice the beverage sitting there and grabbed it for a sip. Right as I swallowed the final drop, the bathroom door swung open. Serena walked out wearing nothing but a bath towel. You and I both know this feeling. Seeing water dripping from her hair completely short-circuited my brain. I gazed at her blankly for ages before regaining my senses. Catching my obvious stare, a delightfully mischievous grin slowly formed on her beautiful face. Moving closer on purpose, she leaned in and asked if she looked pretty. Acting on instinct, I immediately nodded in agreement. My totally clueless, obedient reaction made her burst into laughter. She playfully flicked my forehead and teasingly called me a little pervert. Feeling defensive, I rubbed my head and mumbled since she was my wife, there was nothing wrong with looking. Serena squinted, acting like she caught some hidden meaning. Stepping even closer, she raised a single eyebrow in curiosity. She teased that if I got to look, she deserved a turn too. When she took another step forward, my survival instincts kicked in. I forcefully shoved her back and practically screamed about needing a shower. I looked exactly like a panicked cat getting its tail crushed. I sprinted straight into the washroom and violently slammed the door, only letting out a breath of relief after I was safely inside. Spinning around, pure horror hit me. I left my pajamas behind, and those tiny washroom towels were absolutely not hiding anything at all. Game over. With zero alternatives left, I secured a towel around my waist and bravely marched right back out there. The second I emerged, Serena locked eyes with me. Her intense gaze slowly traveled down my figure with this unbelievable blazing heat that made me freeze. I tried offering an excuse, but she completely shut me down before I could even speak a single word. She bluntly declared she refuses fake marriages. That aggressive opening line completely crushed whatever innocent illusions I had left. Everything she did next gave me zero chance to fight back. Deep down, only one single thought kept repeating. If anybody claims my wife dislikes guys again, I swear I will personally smack them 800 times. Serena, somehow reading my mind entirely, suddenly released this raspy chuckle. It was a rich, alluring noise that felt wonderfully teasing, sending another wild thrill right through me. Annoyed, I grumbled that she was loud. With that said, I flipped over and crashed onto the mattress, immediately faking sleep so she had absolutely zero chance to say anything else. Catching my terrible fake snores, she just stared and shook her head helplessly. Leaning down, she affectionately brushed my cheek before settling beside me. She gently wrapped her arms around me, inhaling the matching shower gel fragrance perfectly clinging to her warm skin. Trust me, it gets crazier. I finally slept, and by next morning, Serena headed downstairs. "Stick with me here." The butler waited as she ordered casually. "He is sleeping, so do not dare disturb him until he wakes. Also, tell the kitchen to cook a traditional breakfast." The butler nodded immediately. "Yes, boss." She walked out of the villa, entered her car, and texted me casually. Arriving at work, Serena completely changed. She turned right back into the strict, ice-cold CEO who commands absolute authority. Pure intimidation was basically carved right into her soul. Employees expecting their regular boss were in for an absolute shock. They quickly noticed President Sterling seemed to be rocking some wild new accessories. As she strutted past, people started whispering frantically, "Hey, did you see her neck? Oh my God, is that a mark? Our icy CEO actually got claimed." Serena entered her office for the daily report, but right away her assistant was acting completely abnormal. Right in the middle of talking, the assistant kept staring at her neck. "Watch closely." The assistant stared like she found a rare artifact, and Serena finally lost her patience. She glared, shooting her a look of pure ice. "Are you done staring? If you have a report, speak clearly." The assistant flinched, instantly lowering her head and rushing right back to business, completely terrified to ask a single question. During the executive meeting, top managers kept sneaking peeks at her. Serena had zero tolerance for this nonsense. Tapping the table, she issued a freezing warning. "I called you here to work, not admire me." That instantly plunged the entire room into dead silence. She swept her cold gaze around and continued to accelerate the acquisition plan. "Keep the budget calculations perfectly precise. I want zero delays on any project." With that, she left, grabbing her phone to handle other business. After the meeting, her phone rang. It was me. Once she answered, I yelled, completely annoyed. "Serena Sterling, have you zero shame?" she replied calmly. "You started it." I was furious. I nearly smashed my phone. "Look at me, who would want to see me like this?" She just let out a soft laugh. "Did you lose an arm, Alexander? Serena, I am your husband." Her voice dripped with calm amusement. "Why do you not look at my own crazy battle scars from today first?" Saying that, she snapped a picture of the massive bruise on her neck and sent it over. "You saw this coming, right?" Seeing that massive purple mark, I nearly threw my phone, but then I just had to tease her back. "Did you do this purposely so I would be too embarrassed to go outside without pausing?" she replied. "You only have to see the butler today. It is not like you are meeting a crowd." Hearing that, I calmed down, sat on the bed, found the perfect angle, and snapped a selfie. I posted it online, restricting privacy so only Damien could view it. Meanwhile, Damien had just woken. With dark circles from a completely sleepless night, he grabbed his phone. Suddenly, he saw my update. Swiping the screen, he opened it. Seeing the picture, he was so enraged, he slammed his phone down furiously, grinding his teeth. "Alexander Wood, you will not stay smug for very long." Imagining his perfect, untouchable white moonlight with someone like me brought him pure agony. Fists clenched super tight, he could not sit still anymore. He desperately needed to expose exactly what kind of person I was. Driven by pure jealousy, Damien grabbed his stuff, rushing straight to Sterling Group headquarters. He even bought a brand new phone just to save my photo. At the main reception desk, he stood tall and demanded I need to see President Sterling. "Excuse me, sir, do you have an appointment?" Damien frowned hard. "No appointment. I am sorry, no appointment means no entry." The receptionist kept smiling politely. Damien almost argued when Serena led some people from the elevator. Seeing her, his eyes totally lit up. Sprinting over, he blocked her path entirely. President Sterling. "Hello, I am Alexander's older brother." Serena shot him a freezing glance. "My husband only has an older sister. He has no brother." Serena remembered this guy. This was the main character from my thoughts, the repulsive creep viewing her as his precious white moonlight. Damien looked slightly embarrassed, yet totally desperate to expose my true face. Gritting his teeth, he quickly pulled out that saved photo on his phone. "Look how Alexander ruined your reputation," he shouted. Serena simply glanced at the screen. "Trust me, you must see what happens next. Stick with me here." Damon frowned, secretly feeling triumphant. He assumed Serena wasn't some superficial girl falling for cheap tricks. Serena completely missed the photo I dropped on her feed. There was really only one logical explanation. I totally posted it just so Damon would see it. I was intentionally trying to provoke him. Thinking about my wild, chaotic actions, Serena actually zoned out for a quick second, highly amused. Damien fully expected Serena to furiously curse me out. So why was this playing out completely different from his wild imagination? The assistant, seeing that Serena clearly had zero positive feelings for this annoying guy, very quickly stepped in. "Boss, if we do not leave now, we will be late." Walking to the door, Serena suddenly remembered something. She turned to the receptionist and ordered, "From now on, if this annoying guy shows up, block him at the door." "Understood." The two receptionists exchanged quick glances and nodded eagerly. Damon tried to speak again, but the assistant totally blocked him. She shot him a fierce glare. "Sir, please do not harass our boss anymore." Out of options, Damon watched helplessly as Serena drove off. Instantly, the two receptionists started gossiping. I totally thought he knew the boss. Turns out she absolutely does not care. Our boss already has a husband. Why would she ever date a loser like him? Wait, what are you saying? Overhearing their juicy gossip? Damien was absolutely, completely furious. Now pay attention. How could someone as powerful as Serena publicly announce to her company she had a husband? Pure nonsense. Everyone here knows it. Today, the boss came to work with a visible hickey and bite marks on her neck. The boss and her husband are deeply in love. Do not try to ruin their amazing relationship. The receptionist warned him. Hearing this, Damon thought his ears were broken. He asked in pure disbelief. "What did you say? Serena, someone so arrogant and untouchable, going to work with a hickey and bite marks?" The receptionist totally refused to entertain his drama. Freaking out, Damon pulled out his phone and stared at the photo. "Look for yourself." He stared at Serena in the picture. That hickey on her neck was just blindingly obvious. Damon simply did not know how he stumbled out of the Sterling Group building. When he first saw my posted picture, he genuinely fully believed it was a complete fake manufactured just to piss him off. But visiting the Sterling Group today, he realized he was the absolute biggest clown in this entire circus. Watching Damien leave looking totally pathetic, the two receptionists immediately texted Serena's assistant the whole crazy story. The assistant was about to report it when she saw Serena pull out her phone to make a quick call. "Alexander, as your wife, should I not be the first one to see private photos like that? Showing outsiders is one thing, but using me as a literal meat shield, that is honestly not very nice." I was right in the middle of eating my breakfast and instantly perked up. "Did Damien seriously visit your company today? You and I know exactly what's up," I burst out laughing. "What is wrong with using my own wife for an advantage?" Serena asked thoughtfully. "You do not regret this, right? Regret what exactly? Why would I found her question to be incredibly strange. What is done is done. Regret what? Damon is probably dying of pure anger right now. Just remember what you said. I have a big business meeting to attend." Hanging up. Previously, I ignored this. After hanging up, I opened my phone. Sure enough, Damon had sent me a massive barrage of nasty messages. His favorite phrase was, "How can you be so totally shameless?" I sneered casually, sending Damon a voice message. "You went to my wife's company. Was it just to see our deep love?" That audio clip literally made Damon's eyes bloodshot with pure rage. "Alexander, why act so smug? Sooner or later, she is going to dump you and you will be left with nothing. We are fully legally married. Even if she actually dumps me and we divorce, I still walk away with half of her massive, incredible fortune. I knew perfectly what Damon cared about most. Every single word I spoke stabbed him right where it truly hurt. Damon was so furious he called me instantly. Once it connected, he unleashed a massive torrent of angry curses. Alexander Wood, how can you possibly be so utterly and completely shameless? She does not even like you. Facing a wildly agitated Damien, I replied cheerfully, "She is my wife. Alex, do you seriously think Serena actually likes you? She is just playing you. At night, she shares my bed. I even hold her while sleeping," I said slowly. That single sentence pushed Damon totally over the edge. Every vile insult imaginable spewed from his mouth. I just set my phone aside, letting him scream helplessly into the empty void. When the other side finally went quiet, I grabbed the phone and said, "Damn, you really like my wife, do you not? Too bad she has absolutely zero interest in you. Plus, she is legally bound to me now. That is where we leave it. If Chloe discovers he is obsessed with another woman, how will she react?" All right, stick with me here. While provoking Damien, I made sure to stir up serious drama with Chloe. Why fight me for absolutely everything? Why couldn't you just disappear out there? Damien spat with venom. I fired right back at him instantly. If absolute garbage like you who completely stole my life like some pathetic parasite is still kicking around, why should I fade away? With that, I hung up and instantly blocked his number. Damien furiously tried calling back, but absolutely nobody answered his desperate attempts. Then the call completely failed. He finally realized I actually blocked him. Boiling with rage, he raised his hand to smash his device. But right before throwing it, he suddenly remembered this was the brand new expensive phone he just bought today. Pushing down his anger, Damien grabbed another phone to make a call. "Help me investigate Alexander Wood and find out who he is meeting." And exactly when he met Serena Sterling. Hearing a solid yes, Damien hung up feeling pretty satisfied. Before he could scheme further, his phone rang again. Seeing the caller ID, Damien felt a massive wave of disappointment. Why wasn't it Serena? If he was the lucky guy who officially married Serena, how absolutely perfect would that be? Despite completely obsessing over Serena, Damien absolutely didn't dare give Chloe the cold shoulder yet. Now that he got kicked completely out of the Wood family, he desperately needed Chloe to keep his status in those elite high society circles. Before fully winning over Serena, he couldn't dump his backup plan. At least not yet. "Damien, exactly where are you? I'm coming to pick you up to meet someone." Chloe sounded super excited. Damien felt pretty annoyed, but he still replied gently and gave his address. About half an hour later, Chloe excitedly appeared. "Damien, didn't you really want to act in movies? Now watch this closely." She contacted a director and secured him an upcoming movie role. Hearing this, Damien intimately held Chloe's arm. Chloe really acting completely overjoyed, he pretended to be slightly hesitant. "Chloe, is it really okay for you to pull major strings for me? Plus, the Wood family went to your house today to completely cancel our engagement. Is it really okay you didn't head home?" Chloe scoffed. "I've wanted to cancel that stupid engagement for a long time. Who would ever like a total country bumpkin like Alexander?" Inside, Damien was cheering, but outwardly he played the poor victim. "Chloe, I am so sorry. If it wasn't for my existence, you wouldn't be dealing with a canceled engagement and getting yelled at. It's totally fine. Since the engagement is canceled, we can just be together forever." Chloe hugged Damien, speaking with such deep affection. Hearing her clingy words made Damien feel nauseous, but he forced a deeply emotional look. "Chloe, you're amazing." Damien then followed Chloe straight to meet the film director. His sharp appearance and decent acting skills made the director nod with satisfaction. "All right, the third male lead role definitely goes to you, sir." A third male lead, Damien wasn't thrilled at all but hit it. Instead, he just smiled and thanked them. The director just smiled, staying quiet. If it wasn't for the Willow family's powerful connections, this third male lead role would never have just magically fallen into his greedy lap. Damien immediately took the script and started studying. He was highly determined to become famous. As long as he became a superstar, he'd have strong backing, making it way easier to deal with me later. Here is where things pivot. Finding out Damien was joining a film crew completely surprised me. Chloe was surprisingly generous when it came to him. That night, Serena came home and saw me working hard on my laptop. She sat right next to me, glancing at the glowing screen. "What are you doing?" "Writing a movie script. Are you seriously into this stuff?" I scooted a bit closer to her. "Take a look. Serena quickly skimmed my script and realized it wasn't bad. Do you want me to invest? But what is in it for me? I tilted my head towards Serena and planted a loud kiss on her cheek. Is this a decent benefit? Serena tilted her head back at me, feeling like she was being bought way too cheaply. The tough boss lady wasn't going to be easily fooled. If you don't agree, that simply won't work. Otherwise, I'll definitely have to use my ultimate honey trap tactics. Hearing my bold words, Serena began looking forward to it. She stared at me, super eager to see exactly what I would actually do to secure her investment. I rolled my eyes, pushed the laptop aside, and suddenly threw both arms around her neck. Looking deep into her eyes, I gently shook her arm purposely, using a whiny, super spoiled tone. Wifey, please, I am begging you. My pathetic but adorable act actually made Serena's cold heart soften. But suddenly she smirked. I believe I still have an unsettled score with you. Hearing that, I instantly remembered the crazy stunt I pulled earlier to annoy her. She leaned in and dropped a soft kiss on my cheek. Call me wifey again. I want to hear it. I stared at her in shock. This woman is a cold, ruthless corporate boss, not some harmless little shrimp. I quickly changed the subject. I'm so hungry today I didn't dare poke the bear anymore. I was genuinely starving. You and I both know she won this round. Holding back a laugh, Serena pulled me to our bedroom and raised an eyebrow. Let's jump back in you, and I know I couldn't step outside with my neck looking like this. Redecorate. I rolled my eyes. I wasn't about to become a joke. Serena's eyes drifted to my neck, barely hiding a smirk. Then she actually leaned in and gave it another playful little bite. I stared wide-eyed. Serena didn't even try to argue. She simply whispered about how she used me to completely provoke that absolute creep. How should we settle this debt? Who even told him to like you? If I don't use you to provoke him, who else would I use? I stated proudly. Surprisingly, Serena just nodded along, not fighting it. So collecting a little interest isn't unreasonable at all, right? I opened my mouth to reply, but Serena definitely did not give me the chance. I pinched her, acting totally wronged. You are so difficult, helping your very own husband, yet you still demand compensation. You are incredibly stingy for a boss. Serena just grabbed my hand and gently kissed my knuckles. As a businesswoman, your wife provides the funding, and I exclusively accept my payments through a very clever honey trap. I am heading overseas for a business trip the day after tomorrow. Want to tag along? Serena asked, clearly hoping to bring me with her. I am not going. I instantly remembered. She still had not given a straight answer about her investing. You are my husband. My stuff is your stuff. Use the funds however you want. After dinner, Serena pulled me out into the garden. Sitting quietly in the gazebo, I kept writing my script while she read over my shoulder. This script focused on a good friend of mine from middle school. She faced terrible bullying, fell into deep despair, and eventually gave up completely, leaving us forever. But since the bullies were minors, they somehow completely escaped any real heavy punishment. You and I feel it, right? Remembering that bright girl, pure sadness just hit me. She gave up while those people just stood and watched. Serena comforted me gently. The law is always getting better. Those people will face real justice. The next morning, Serena and her assistant left for their business trip. Watching them go, I was absolutely thrilled. She is finally gone. I can do whatever the heck I want until she returns. By day 3, that mark on my neck had practically vanished in the mirror. Without wasting a single second, I immediately launched my epic room makeover plan. I drove straight to the mall, grabbing fresh new bedding, 2 massive beanbag chairs, a sleek little coffee table, and a couple of nice potted plants. Back home, I had the staff wash the brand new bedding. Suddenly, a guy stepped up, blocking my path. Alexander Wood, you are casually redecorating President Sterling's private room. Watch closely, this is where it gets fun. Did she give you permission? I tilted my head, flashing a slow smirk while resting my chin on my hand. It is my wife's room, so I can do whatever I want. She has zero problems with it, so why exactly are you jumping out here barking at me? The word wife made his face freeze. I called the butler over and asked, who is this guy? The poor butler looked at this stubborn fool standing right there, deeply rubbing his temples. That is the son of Chef Thomas. Since when does a chef's son get to dictate what the actual master of the house does? The butler glared at him with heavy displeasure. I just leaned back into the sofa, casually asking the butler, before my wife left, didn't she declare that I am the master of her room? Whatever I say goes right. The butler nodded instantly. That is absolutely correct. Madame explicitly ordered that while away, Sir has full authority over everything. She even specifically instructed us to assist you in redecorating. I looked at the guy with genuine interest. So I am really curious now. My wife clearly said I am in charge. Does this gentleman refuse to recognize my status, or does he just refuse to acknowledge my existence altogether? The butler's expression changed in a flash. Felix Zhang is only staying here temporarily. Strictly speaking, he is not even an employee of the Sterling family. What right does he possibly have to speak to you like this? Get Chef Thomas out here right now. The chef rushed from the kitchen. Hearing the situation, he realized his incredibly arrogant, totally ungrateful son had deeply offended me. Felix, you claimed you had no place for the summer. I literally begged Madam to let you crash here for just a little while. What on earth are you trying to pull? Chef Thomas was just absolutely furious. You see, Chef Thomas and Felix's mom divorced ages ago. Back then, Felix chose his rich stepfather's money, completely refusing to go with his real dad. So Thomas had only taken his youngest son. He never expected this tiny reunion to trigger such a massive disaster. Sir, I will have him pack up and leave immediately. Seeing the pure, profound disappointment in the poor chef's eyes, I spoke softly. Chef, do not stress. You are a great guy, but you really gotta watch out for certain people. Do not let them drag you down. Thank you, sir. Once I headed upstairs, Thomas glared at Felix with absolute disgust. Pack your bags and get out. Do not stay here. I am not your father anymore. Go beg your stepdad. So what do we learn here? Karma never misses. Don't ever come looking for me again. Let's dive right in. Chef Thomas felt incredibly bitter. He always believed family came first, helping out whenever he possibly could. But who knew this brat would disrespect him, even harboring completely delusional intentions toward the madam herself? What an absolute fool, completely blind to how vast and powerful the world truly is. Seeing his dad publicly side against him, Felix flew into a furious rage. Fine, I will leave. Who wants this dump anyway? Storming back to his room, he packed his bags fully, assuming his dad was just bluffing and wouldn't actually kick him out. So he stalled for ages. But guess what? Chef Thomas never came to stop him. Peeking out to check the situation, Chef Thomas walked right in his face, totally emotionless. Are you finished packing? Then just get out. Felix sneered aggressively, stuffing things into his suitcase. Do not come crawling back to me later. Chef Thomas just stared blankly. Working for the Sterling family paid $30,000 monthly plus benefits. His youngest son was brilliant, landing scholarships yearly. He was incredibly well-behaved, always helping the villa staff when visiting, easily earning everyone's absolute affection. Felix, however, was lazy and totally rotten to the core. Fine, do not ever call me again. You said you hated me and never wanted to see me. An awkward silence followed, leaving them completely speechless. Glaring fiercely at Chef Thomas, Felix grabbed his heavy suitcase and stormed right out. The butler glanced at Chef Thomas. Your son is trouble. Never let him step foot in here again. I wash my hands of him, Chef Thomas stated firmly. Glad you finally understand. Here is where it gets interesting. Madam ignores small things, but regarding Sir, nobody dares take chances. You handled this perfectly, the butler heavily hinted. By doing this, Thomas avoided my anger and saved himself. Meanwhile, my purchased items finally arrived. Freshly washed bedding returned too. I had staff set everything up on the balcony, directing them to change the sheets. I smiled with complete satisfaction. The rug was replaced, and a sleek lamp with simple ornaments sat right on the nightstand. This once freezing, sterile room had become infinitely warmer and cozier under my careful touch. Looking at those pitch-black curtains, I slapped my forehead. I almost forgot the most important part. I quickly called someone to swap them. Once changed, that oppressive black and gray aesthetic instantly felt completely brand new. I snapped a few pictures and texted Serena. How is it? Looks pretty good, right? Over in Europe, Serena was working when her phone buzzed. Inside, she found a completely transformed bedroom and my smiling selfie. She instantly regretted leaving me behind. Replying with a quick text, she simply headed out. That partner company's CEO still hadn't given a clear answer, obviously just trying to stall for more time. They are definitely dragging this out. Give them until tomorrow morning at the latest. If they keep playing games, completely cancel the partnership. Though highly surprised, her assistant asked 0 questions, going straight to negotiate with the other party. After hanging up, Serena finally rested. The next morning, she saw my new message. You saw that too, right? Pictures of dinner, fresh garden flowers, and a decorated balcony. It truly looked beautiful, she replied, then headed out for the day. President, no answer yet. Just book a flight back for tomorrow morning. She refused to waste any more time. Handle today's affairs. Call me if anything arises. Grabbing her keys, she immediately left. After strolling around the city for a bit, she returned happily carrying several fancy shopping bags. Receiving a call from the partner company, the assistant quickly went to find Serena. She was totally stunned seeing Serena organizing high-end shopping bags, cute decorations, clothes, and fancy shoes. The assistant was completely bewildered. Who would ever think their icy, untouchable CEO would actually go shopping for fun things? Boss, did you buy all these for Sir? He really likes this kind of stuff. Just mentioning me, a faint, genuinely sweet smile graced her lips. Only then did the assistant realize their CEO was actually human. Around someone she truly liked. All that tough, icy exterior just melted into a winding, beautifully gentle stream. That other side wants to increase their profit margin. The assistant reported, finally remembering official business. I told them that following our original plan, we are heading back tomorrow. That partner company felt absolutely certain Serena would eventually yield for the business deal's sake, but they were so completely wrong. Right at that moment, inside a luxurious European chateau, a man gently swirled red wine in his fancy glass, asking the person beside him for news. Smith, you are completely done for this time. Serena Sterling just had her assistant book a morning flight straight back to China. A blonde, blue-eyed man practically leaped off the luxury sofa, angrily slamming his wine glass onto the table. What did you say? Backing out. Trust me, watch what happens next. Serena's European business power was seriously no joke. Even top players had to walk on eggshells around this absolute queen. Stick with me here, guys. She showed up to negotiate, and Smith actually dared to scam her. No way, she retreats. Smith opened his mouth, but his phone suddenly buzzed. Catching the caller ID, he turned pale white and scrambled to answer. Smith, you have insane nerve, making things so ridiculously hard for Serena Sterling. I tried so incredibly hard to get her to visit Europe, and you completely angered her. You are an absolute fool. Before Smith could even explain himself, the call abruptly ended. He just stared blankly at the screen. Barely any time passed, and David already knew everything. The guy beside him just shook his head in pity. Smith, this is only just beginning. Oh yeah, right. After David called, Smith's phone blew up with over 12 more rings. Every single caller was someone he totally could never mess with. Their goal was perfectly united. Make him heavily apologize to Serena Sterling. Hearing their furious voices, if he refused to apologize today, forget the shiny new deal, his entire company would instantly sink to the bottom. Do you actually know where Serena Sterling went to save his business? Smith had zero choice but to submit. His companion quickly handed him her exact location. Now pay attention to this part. Getting to actually see her depends purely on your luck. Later that night, I was video chatting with Serena. Someone suddenly knocked, and her loyal assistant walked right in. Madam President. Smith is begging to visit you. I won't see him. The assistant nodded and quickly left. I asked curiously, what exactly happened? You seem pretty upset. Is work stressful, just some folks wanting way more than they deserve? She quickly summed up the whole dramatic event. Smith actually tried squeezing a 10% profit cut from her. I made a funny face. Your wealth is literally ranked worldwide. And this Smith dude actually dared using shady tricks just to squeeze cash from you. What in the world are you going to do now? Weren't you specially invited by his family? Since Smith cannot behave himself, this deal is fully canceled. I am flying home tomorrow. That is amazing. Then you must bring me a present, I asked excitedly. I am catching an early flight tomorrow. What if I completely lacked time to buy a present? She teased playfully, acting totally regretful. I playfully glared at her and instantly dropped the video chat. Tapping my phone screen, I mumbled out loud. Fancy superstar boss travels across the world and forgets to buy her lovely husband a gift. Total 1-star review. She never expected me to just hang up on her. She let out a soft laugh, shook her head playfully, plugged her device in to charge, and went to prep for bed. Downstairs, Smith paced around the fancy lobby forever, but he still failed to make the assistant grant him any access to Serena. Mr. Smith, our boss is presently video calling her husband. I am truly afraid she absolutely cannot meet you tonight. Smith was completely enraged but hid his anger. I can patiently wait. The assistant simply smiled so politely. Mr. Smith, our boss already chose to take the absolute earliest flight back home tomorrow morning. Pure panic instantly hit him hard. Smith frantically begged. We can actually sign the business contract right this second, she replied. We absolutely refuse your wild demands. Therefore, we skip the signature. Smith's expression instantly turned incredibly sour. You and I both know this guy will never just quit. Seeing her assistant block every single trick, he finally retreated. But get this, he totally ordered his goons to watch closely, planning to secretly ambush Serena later. The assistant went upstairs to report. Boss Smith is absolutely still waiting outside. Tomorrow we just walk right past him, Serena casually hummed. Absolutely no need to continue any business with a guy like that. He is totally unworthy. Next morning, the assistant packed all their bags into the fancy ride, then happily grabbed the sweet present Serena bought me. Right outside the lobby, Smith completely blocked Serena. Boss Sterling, we really must talk. Serena was extremely annoyed by this ridiculous stunt. Refusing to step aside, she just glared coldly, whipped out her phone, and immediately dialed David. David, I showed you total respect. Now tell your little dog to step aside immediately and completely stop blocking my path. Realizing Smith was literally trapping her there, David got so completely furious he almost coughed up his own lungs. Boss Sterling, please use the speaker. David's incredibly furious voice absolutely roared through the phone. Smith, you massive idiot, get out of her way. He specifically ordered Smith to politely apologize, not physically trap the mighty leader. Terrified of enraging David further, Smith had zero choice but to move aside, helplessly watching Serena strut away. Landing back in the capital city, her personal driver was already waiting. Serena did not even glance up while commanding him to speed home. Yes, madam. Since I playfully dropped our video chat yesterday, I had not sent her even a single message. Checking the completely empty chat log, Serena just shook her head. My husband truly has a funny temper. Entering the massive house, the loyal butler warmly welcomed her back. Tossing her heavy bags to him, Serena quickly glanced around the room. Trust me, here comes the mystery. Frowning, she asked. Where is Alex? Sir feels unwell resting upstairs. Let's dive into this wild story together. Serena grabbed her new gifts and rushed upstairs, peeking in to spot a tiny lump under the covers. Walking over, she sat on the bed edge, completely shocked by my pale face. Her heart instantly squeezed tight. She reached down, touching my burning forehead. Why so hot? It had been 5 long days since she left. When I groggily woke up, she was resting right beside me with her warm hand on my head. She gently asked, Is the fever gone? Still feeling sick, honestly way better. But the awful bitter taste left in my mouth made me grimace. Just a bit thirsty. Serena instantly hopped up, grabbing a fresh glass of warm water. Gulping it down, she softly added, The family doctor already checked you out earlier. You caught a bad fever. Keep taking those meds exactly on time for the next few days. After you bounce back, you gotta eat healthy stuff to regain that strength. Nodding along, I told her I really craved pumpkin and sweet millet porridge. Got it, the chef will whip that right up. Pausing briefly, she mentioned the shiny gifts waiting outside. Once you are up, go open them. Giving her a highly suspicious look, I asked, Didn't you say you were too busy for presents? Pinching my cheek with a teasing smile, she laughed. Totally messing with you. Who knew you'd take it seriously? Remembering my abrupt hang-up yesterday, massive guilt kicked in. I quickly started shooing her out the door. Just go on out. The second she left, I jumped right out and washed my face. Changed into super fresh loungewear, grabbed my slippers, and basically sprinted to open my gifts. Spotting those totally gorgeous shopping bags stacked up, I hauled everything onto the living room sofa and slowly started unpacking them. The clothes fit my exact style, but the real highlight was definitely that PC Felipe watch. Absolutely stunning to see. Strapping the gorgeous watch right on, I packed up the rest, then sluggishly made my way downstairs to find Serena. Catching her on the sofa, super focused on some intense work, I stealthily snuck up behind and wrapped my arms tightly around her. I flashed my wrist directly in front of her face. Does it look good? In my head, I warned her, say it looks bad and you are totally sleeping on the couch tonight. Stopping her typing, she turned, caught me hovering super close, then smiled and nodded. Deeply satisfied, I nodded back, resting my chin directly on her soft shoulder while peeking at her glowing screen. What are you even working on? Did an insane amount of work pile up while away? Still feeling under the weather? Yeah, slightly drained. Head is somewhat foggy, but honestly way better than earlier this morning. She instantly shoved the laptop aside, yanking me down right beside her. Stop standing around like that, just sit here until dinner is ready. While waiting for food, I aimlessly scrolled my social feed and spotted a brand new update from Damien. Now pay attention here, things get messy. I frowned, realizing I hadn't blocked him yet. Damien really had a talent for controlling Chloe. She was totally getting played without even realizing it. Back to working. Serena heard my inner thoughts and grew genuinely curious about Damien and Chloe. Because actually, that guy has always been obsessed with Serena. Chloe meant nothing to him. She was literally just a pathetic backup plan since he could never have Serena. In the original storyline, once Chloe hit peak fame, he tried using her massive influence to threaten Serena into becoming his secret little side piece. The final result, Serena absolutely destroyed that fool. If some insanely powerful backer had not stepped in begging for mercy, those two would have lost absolutely everything. That completely repulsive creep actually wanted me as his side piece. Serena totally praised herself internally, truly acting like the ultimate boss lady. Her scumbag detection radar was totally maxed out. Tilting my head, I studied her intensely focused profile. You and I both love a sweet moment. I wrapped my arms around her, planting a massive kiss on her lips. Completely shocked by this bold affection, she stared at me totally confused. What is wrong? Absolutely nothing, I thought. Just a reward for my amazing wife's perfect scumbag radar. Highly amused by my internal logic. Serena dropped her laptop right down and snuggled warmly into my arms. Do not tease me right now. I mean, you can totally try, but you will absolutely have to deal with the wild consequences. Giggling softly, I went right back to scrolling Damien's feed. Chloe just scored the third male lead spot for Damien, and he surprisingly accepted it. Serena leaned closer. I absolutely hate that guy. Want me to just get his role completely replaced? Shaking my head hard, I declined. No need. This movie is completely doomed anyway. In the original storyline, right after filming wrapped and those huge promo campaigns officially launched, the main lead actor got slapped with an insanely massive scandal and went straight to a dark prison cell. The whole project got trashed. Even worse, they lost over $100 million. $10 million of that was actually Chloe's cash. Thinking about Chloe losing all that cash over Damien makes me crack up. Mr. Wood, madam, dinner is served. After we finished eating, Serena literally dragged me upstairs for my daily meds. We're leaving it right here. Swallowing my pills, Damien texted Alex. Chloe introduced me to a famous director. All right, jump in with me. Reading his texts gave me total full-body cringe. Are you not jealous? So jealous. Unlike me, I just happily spend my gorgeous wife's cash. He is definitely trying to use Chloe to trigger me. He never considers if he is worthy. My wife is a million times better than Chloe, richer, far prettier, and treats me incredibly well. Serena leaned against the sofa, staring fixedly. It totally startled me. What are you even looking at? Oh, nothing. I threw her a side eye, confirming it was absolutely nothing. I waited for Damon to reply, but crickets. The guy totally ghosted, leaving me feeling honestly a bit let down. Is Damon's own mental strength really that incredibly weak? Meanwhile, Damon glared at his phone screen, absolutely furious enough to crush me. He forcefully suppressed his intense rage. He completely knew he had to play this role perfectly to become famous. Otherwise, the Willow family would dump him the exact second he stopped bringing them any benefits. Once he got famous and Chloe took over the Willow family, he swore he would make me and Serena wish we completely disappeared forever. Thinking about his incredibly grand vision, his sour mood actually improved slightly. Just then, a sudden knock hit the door. Damon cautiously asked, "Who is it?" Knowing it was Chloe, he completely relaxed and opened the door with a bright smile. "Chloe, did your uncle and aunt call you home for something?" "Oh, nothing major. Just about you and Alex canceling the engagement." This recent cancellation caused major dissatisfaction within the Willow family. After all, their entire business relied quite heavily on the Wood family. Thanks to Chloe making up clever excuses and brushing things off, her family temporarily stopped bringing it up. But they definitely had a huge problem with Damien. Naturally, Chloe hid all of this from him. Damon immediately faked a guilt-ridden face. Did they say bad things? If it was not for me, things never would have reached this terrible point. Internally, he was fully celebrating. Outwardly, he played the perfect self-blaming victim. This sneaky trick worked flawlessly. Chloe, that incredibly foolish girl, instantly felt terrible for him and hugged him, totally softening. "This has nothing to do with you. Alexander is just too petty." Seeing his plan succeed, Damon smoothly continued his fake act. "If it was not for me," Chloe quickly cut him off. "Stop blaming yourself. My parents already tacitly agreed to all this," saying that she pulled him inside to discuss the movie. "Once you finish filming this specific part, I will find you another great role." "Thank you, Chloe." Damon offered a gentle fake smile, making Chloe's eyes sparkle, feeling like she drew one single step closer to him. Now pay attention here. Lately, Damon loved posting interactions with Chloe strictly to piss me off. I treated him like a total clown and could not care less, but he kept getting increasingly outrageous, which finally managed to completely annoy me. Later that night, Serena was resting in my arms. I comfortably held her waist while she was quietly reading a book. Extremely satisfied with this position, I reached out and grabbed my phone directly from the nightstand. Seeing this, Serena put her book down, handing me the phone. "What is wrong?" I giggled, not explaining. Since Damon keeps using stupid tricks to annoy me, why not trigger him back once Serena paused her exact movement of picking up her book? Now she fully understood. I was grumpy lately because this clown kept shoving total garbage right in my face. I held up my phone and snapped a few cozy pictures of the two of us. One photo specifically focused on Serena's beautifully exposed collarbone. Seeing me snap these photos, you and I know exactly what happens next. Serena stopped reading altogether, snuggling close, eagerly watching with great interest to see me plot my petty revenge. I skipped my public feed, sending it directly to Damien via private message. I waited about 2 minutes, then recalled the message. "If you unsend it, will he even actually see it?" Serena asked, fully confused. "He definitely saw it," I said confidently. Knowing Damon, he was absolutely glued to his phone right now. If not scrolling social media, he was definitely chatting with Chloe. Sure enough, Damon saw the very picture I sent. He was completely furious. He hurled his phone onto the carpet, grinding his teeth and loudly cursing. "Alexander, why do you not just vanish?" At first, Damon never believed I could fall for someone else so incredibly fast, assuming I was just using Chloe to make him jealous. He never expected this outcome. Not only did he fail to trigger me, he managed to render himself entirely speechless with pure, burning rage. He stared darkly at his glowing screen, desperately wanting to get a few more looks at Serena, but the photo had already been fully recalled. Damien deeply regretted not saving it instantly. Serena's incredibly elegant posture, the curves perfectly hidden beneath her nightgown. It was everything he obsessively dreamed of both day and night. He imagined himself leaning against Serena, his hands gently tracing her soft skin. Thinking about this, his nose suddenly felt super itchy. He wiped it. Bright red. He quickly rushed straight to the bathroom to clean himself up. That is where we leave it. After cleaning up, his eyes burned with pure determination. I must make Serena completely mine. She alone is truly worthy. "All right, come along with me." He checked his script, 3 days left. After filming, he absolutely had to find Serena and prove he was the only man worthy of her. Meanwhile, I just stared at my completely silent phone and let out a cold smirk. Did Damon short-circuit from total rage? "Are you done teasing him?" Serena suddenly asked. I honestly felt a little embarrassed. Should I not charge an appearance fee then? Before I could even finish, she wrapped her arms right around my waist, leaving zero room to negotiate. 3 days later, Damon finally wrapped his final scenes. Skipping the wrap party entirely, he rushed straight back to the bustling capital. He constantly worried about finding a way to meet Serena. If he could somehow sneak right into her company, that would be absolute perfection. While pacing anxiously, Chloe brought some amazing news. In 2 days, a massive charity gala was happening, and she wanted him as her +1. Desperate to break into the entertainment industry, Damon obviously would never pass up a massive chance to show off. Serena had already mentioned this exact event to me. I usually find these parties super boring, but she noted Chloe was invited and would definitely bring Damien along. Since he wanted to act, he would never miss an opportunity like this. Hearing those two were attending, my enthusiasm completely skyrocketed. I hugged Serena tightly. "Wifey, I am going too." I thought to myself, I absolutely need to see what these two clowns are plotting. Serena totally guessed I could hear their inner thoughts. Now pay attention, because this is where it gets wildly entertaining. While we happily prepped for the gala, Damon was playing his part. "Chloe, if I go, will your powerful family not be totally upset?" He played the hesitant card perfectly. "Do not worry about them," Chloe replied dismissively while Damon schemed. "It is a charity gala, and she asked me. Her family cannot exactly control who she brings along as a date, right?" He immediately faked a look of sheer adoration, a look Chloe absolutely ate up. Holding his arm tightly, she smiled. "Tons of important elites will be there today. I will introduce you around. It will be absolutely amazing for your career." This was exactly what Damon desperately wanted. Scoring favors from major big shots was all that mattered. Chloe was just a convenient stepping stone. Pretending to be deeply moved, he hugged her close. "Thank you, Chloe." Looking at his incredibly devoted face, Chloe felt like she was floating on soft clouds. She hugged him tighter, leaning in for a romantic kiss, but Damon smoothly pushed her right away. Chloe, I am still on the film crew radar even inside here. What if someone walks in and catches us? Chloe looked a bit displeased, but reluctantly nodded. Seeing her pout, Damon quickly kissed her cheek. Do not be mad. I am doing this for our bright future. I just want to stand on equal footing with you. That single fake kiss made Chloe totally compliant. She hugged him tight. Do not worry. Whatever you want, I will help you get it. A dark, calculated flash crossed his eyes. I want Serena Sterling. Would she help steal her too? You and I both know he kept that completely silent. On auction day, Damon rocked a high-end bespoke suit with flashy expensive accessories gifted by Chloe, strutting confidently right by her side. Guests, knowing the intense feud between the Wood and Willow families, pointed and loudly whispered that Damien Guy really has zero class. He actually dared to steal the true young master's fiancé. Oh please, your gossip is completely outdated. The real Wood family heir is now married into the Sterling family. That new partner is easily 100 times better than Chloe. Damien, with his arms snugly around her waist, heard every single whisper. His face turned incredibly ugly. These loud-mouthed absolute idiots! How dare they insult me to my face? Chloe did not even argue back. She just walked right past, dropping a freezing cold sentence. The unloved one is the third wheel. Damon and I are true love. Serena and I had literally just arrived at the glamorous auction hall, catching that ridiculous grand declaration. I completely let go of Serena's hand and slow clapped. Bravo, beautifully said. So this is your excuse for hooking up with him while we were still happily engaged. The very moment I spoke up, every single eye turned right toward us. Someone nosy asked young Master Wood, what are your thoughts on this mess? What thoughts could I possibly have? Naturally, I wish this pair of absolutely despicable scumbags a lifetime of happiness together. Please lock yourselves together forever and never go out to harm innocent people again. Damon instantly turned on his pathetic victim face. Brother, I know you have a huge prejudice against me, but you cannot just what I cut him off. While we were engaged, you colluded with her, sending me photos and videos to provoke me. Now that I am wishing you well, you are upset. Talk about absolute bad luck. I honestly could not stomach his constant act. Since my return, he played the bullied martyr daily. That is where we pause, trust me. You will absolutely want to see what comes next. Stick with me. We are diving into pure drama today. The clueless crowd exchanged glances. Seeing their shifting gazes, Damon panicked and defended himself. That is totally false. He is slandering me. I could not even bother arguing. I just pulled out my phone, flashing my saved photos and videos to the whole crowd. Catching those overly intimate scenes between Damon and Chloe, everyone's faces instantly twisted in pure disgust. Now they finally understood why the Wood family totally cut all ties with him. Want me to keep going? I asked with an icy smile. Damon had zero comeback. He just stared at Chloe with these pathetic, utterly pleading little eyes. Seeing her completely frozen, he cursed on the inside. What a useless, absolute loser. Can you not see Alexander bullying me yet? You refuse to help. He then turned his pitiful gaze toward Serena. President Sterling, my brother is honestly misunderstanding me, but my husband only has one older sister, no brothers. Serena stepped up beside me, wrapping one arm around my waist, and coldly replied, Plus, did you not send all this absolute garbage to my husband yourself? I just crossed my arms, smirking at Damien. The girl you used 1,000 sneaky schemes to steal is standing right beside you, and you are already trying to flirt with my wife. At this exact moment, Chloe finally lost her cool. That is enough. You already kicked Damien out of your house. What more do you honestly want? Why are you so vicious? Getting accused by an absolute idiot actually made me laugh. Before I could even say anything, Serena guided me straight toward the registration desk, tossing a freezing cold remark over her shoulder. Arguing with a brainless loser whose head is full of mush is just a massive waste of breath. I could not help but cover my mouth and completely snicker. Keep talking, wifey. I love listening to you, catching my internal cheering. Serena smiled softly. She shot one sharp glance right at Chloe. The Willow family is basically ruined now. Imagine bringing this kind of guy to a major high-class auction, just letting him cause a ridiculous scene. Pay attention here. The crowd realized what was happening, trying so hard to hide their giggles. This auction was huge. Chloe bringing Damon along was pure career sabotage. I blinked, asking with real curiosity, Wifey, what are they auctioning off this time? A huge military-industrial corporate partnership project. Highest bidder wins. My eyes lit up completely looking at Serena like I just discovered a treasure chest. So it is the military contract? I remember from the original plot, Damien tried to show off and absolutely failed. In the end, the partner confidently chose Serena. The absolute funniest part is he relied on his main character plot armor actually ordering Serena to hand the massive contract right over to Chloe. He had absolutely no idea that facing the ultimate villainous boss, his plot armor is nothing but a useless cloud of smoke. He ended up getting literally tossed right out. Thinking about what happens next makes me so excited. Can we get this show on the road? Catching my thoughts, Serena frowned. What kind of totally idiotic stunt is that? Just because of some silly plot armor, he dares to demand a huge contract and boss me around? Does he think I am completely brainless? You saw that, right? Suddenly, she was eager to see how this main character couple would completely ruin themselves. Damien originally planned to act all pitiful to win some sympathy, but who knew Serena would completely ignore him and even publicly show affection to me right to his face instead. He clenched his fists, eyes brimming with pure dark malice. Just wait until I help Chloe secure this contract. I will make you beg on your knees, hearing his thoughts. I pulled a very weird face. You want the queen to beg on her knees? Your blind arrogance is truly as consistent as ever. An ignorant fool who knows nothing daring to challenge the absolute titans of the business world here. Who gave you this wild courage? The author of the universe. Let alone Serena, you could not hold a single candle to any of the seasoned corporate sharks in this room. He actually wants to battle for a massive contract against the undisputed ruler of Wall Street. Serena pulled me closer, whispering in a low voice. Hubby want to completely crush these ignorant fools who have zero clue how high the sky actually is. Her voice sounded so casual, almost like asking about the weather. My eyes sparkled with wild anticipation as I looked at her, my clear gaze spelling out exactly 3 words. Can we please? Serena affectionately patted my head. If you want to let us go play with them. We absolutely have to. I need a front row seat to watch Damien make a total complete fool of himself. I whispered excitedly, with her settling right in for the show. The auction quickly kicked off. First up were a few small items and rare antique jade pieces. When a tie clip came up for bid, I softly whispered to Serena, I like this. Serena did not say a word. She kept her eyes locked on the auctioneer. Starting bid is 500,000. Minimum raise 100,000. Let the bidding officially begin. Damien had his eye on that tie clip too. He whined straight to Chloe. Chloe, that tie clip is just so beautiful. If I could wear this solid gold tie clip, I would look so sharp. If you like it, I will buy it. Chloe had a surplus budget for this event. Trust me, watch this. A tie clip was nothing. 1 million, 1.3, price hit 2 million. Chloe frowned. All right, stick with me here. That tie clip looked awesome, but the price was insanely inflated. Damien immediately played the tragic victim. Chloe let it go. It costs way too much. But honestly, his dramatic face completely screamed he desperately wanted that shiny toy. Before Chloe could even respond, Serena calmly raised her voice. 5 million. Small petty bids simply bored our queen to absolute tears. She just patiently watched the numbers level out, then completely struck. Shocked, I frantically grabbed my wife's arm in absolute total disbelief. What are you doing? 2 million was basically a scam, and you just casually threw down an extra 3 million. You are married to the mighty Sterling family head. Buy whatever makes you happy. Never let a silly price tag stop you. Her absolute boss energy instantly shut down the entire auction room. Sure, others had the cash, but everyone there absolutely had to respect the legendary Serena Sterling. Hearing the final hammer fall, Damon's jealous eyes practically burned with rage. Chloe was literally sweating over a mere 2 million while Serena effortlessly tossed an extra 3 million just to secure my awesome new tie clip. The massive status gap was embarrassingly obvious here. He bitterly glanced at Chloe. Exactly, a cheap fake cannot ever match the original. This completely useless woman lacks the actual nerve to even raise a single bid today. Reading his mind, I let out a satisfied smirk. So Damon is finally resenting Chloe. Despite Chloe being the Willow family heir with that classic female lead plot armor standing right next to Serena, she was just incredibly weak. He desperately needed that huge military contract, therefore their limited funds absolutely couldn't be spent recklessly today. That tie clip was not some magical relic. Honestly, Chloe found it completely worthless. Plus, fighting a total apex predator like Serena in a fierce bidding war, Chloe stood zero chance. Helplessly rubbing her extremely tired temples, she desperately wanted to comfort Damien but stayed completely silent. She quietly resolved to buy him something cheaper later. Now watch closely. Gorgeous black diamond cufflinks dropped next, and Serena instantly locked her eyes right onto them. These natural diamonds start at 2 million, jumping by 500,000. 10 million, Serena suddenly announced, sounding completely bored and flat. Every wealthy businessman hoping to snag these awesome gifts for their own precious families sat there completely stunned and speechless. An 8 million jump instantly. She fiercely wanted those cufflinks, making the entire scared crowd helplessly surrender all their bids. Finally reacting, I playfully pinched Serena's soft cheek. "You absolute wild spender." She just warmly smiled back at me incredibly gently. "Your monthly allowance easily eclipses this tiny amount. Stop being so cheap. You are my beloved husband and deserve the absolute best." Serena affectionately squeezed my hand, chatting casually. Honestly, her unlimited black card could easily buy dozens or even hundreds of these sets. Yet here I was, stressing over pocket change. She genuinely thought I must have suffered terribly before. "Hubby, please trust my epic money-making skills. If you completely refuse to spend my cash, how will you ever fulfill your grand role as my spoiled gold-digging husband?" Hearing her logic, I felt it made weird sense. I nodded seriously. "Fine, I won't hold back anymore." Serena nodded with total satisfaction and peacefully watched the auction. Damon overheard our entire chat from behind, furious that Serena bought me crazy expensive gear without even a single blink. Meanwhile, Chloe got absolutely nothing. Furious and embarrassed, Damon bitterly whispered, "Chloe, those flashy cufflinks don't suit us anyway. The biggest target today is that military contract." Though Chloe spoiled him rotten, she definitely knew her true priorities. Explaining this right now clearly proved she genuinely valued him. Damon's annoyed face completely stiffened, but he stayed totally silent. The guy wasn't actually stupid. He totally understood Chloe's angle. Normal jewelry was okay, but outrageously priced loot like that wild tie clip was strictly off limits today. You feel that tension, right? Though angry, he absolutely couldn't afford to burn bridges with Chloe today. His whole future heavily depended on her. "Whatever I lose today, I will take back 1,000-fold in the future." With that thought, his mood improved. He sneaked a glare at me, internally sneering. "You think winning 2 shiny toys makes you arrogant? Just wait until we secure that epic military contract. We will absolutely see who gets humiliated then." Seeing his hidden smugness, I helplessly shook my head. Honestly, Damon's wild overconfidence was becoming completely pathological. Damon is so understanding for not throwing a fuss right now. That was the very first time I heard Chloe's inner voice since entering this grand hall. If Damon heard that, I wonder what he'd think. Afterwards, Serena smoothly won 2 more items I liked. Damon's side managed to grab an item for under 1 million. Finally, the truly critical moment had arrived. The fierce bidding for the military corporate partnership began. The presenter was the highest-ranking executive of the military enterprise. Spotting Serena, his expression shifted slightly. Curiously, I asked wifey, "Do you actually know him?" She replied, "We have met before, done some minor business together." I simply nodded. "What do you think?" "Trust me, our girl Serena is absolutely bagging this contract. Let's jump in. You and I are about to see Damon lose his guaranteed win." When bidding kicked off, Serena stayed quiet, just carefully watching the entire room. By the time Chloe joined the fight, the price had already crossed 8 billion. She yelled 10 billion. Damon immediately frowned and whispered, "Chloe, isn't this way too pricey? What kind of deal needs 10 billion? Are they just trying to secretly scam you?" The surrounding crowd quickly shot them totally mocking glares, which left Damon feeling incredibly awkward and out of place. Even Chloe frowned hard. "Damien, stop talking nonsense. We only know the basic outline of this project. The executive will explain the details after we bid." Damien's foolish words were basically just begging for total humiliation. "I am not talking nonsense. It is a normal partnership. Why spend 10 billion ta? If they have that much cash, why not give me some?" The whole crowd's gaze toward Damien instantly turned completely freezing cold. Someone who truly despised Chloe shot him a look of pure contempt. Chloe Willow. Next time you attend an event like this, bring someone who knows how to stay totally quiet. Saying that the person intentionally raised their voice for everyone. Some guys act like total geniuses, but whenever they actually speak, they just make absolute fools out of themselves. The corporate executive on stage just smiled. If this gentleman thinks we are scamming you, Miss Willow is totally free to withdraw from the bidding. Getting publicly called out by the leader of a top national force left Chloe completely furious. She glared intensely at Damon. If you do not understand, stay quiet. This contract is vital for the Willow family. Damon tried to justify himself, but Chloe cut him off. Be quiet. If you keep talking, I will not be able to bid today. Damon immediately started playing the victim. Do you suddenly hate me now? Chloe rubbed her temples, looking incredibly annoyed by him. Damon, now is not the time to discuss this. You are regretting this, right? You won't believe this next part. Damien actually stood up and pointed an accusing finger at Chloe. I watched with pure amusement. Weren't you supposed to be the smart one? Why act like this? You are basically destroying Chloe's dignity in front of this entire massive crowd. Looking at Chloe's incredibly dark expression, I honestly could not help but laugh. I wanted to see exactly how far he would push things. Damien, do you have any idea where you even are right now? Chloe finally exploded. Normally she would just pamper him, but this was different. Countless VIPs and major military representatives were watching them. His childish tantrum was completely humiliating her beyond repair. Only then did Damon finally notice the mocking stares from the entire auction hall. I just rested my chin, sneering with amusement. Everyone knows you two are deeply in love, but please save the drama for private. Stop holding up the entire bidding process right now. What is honestly wrong with the Willow family, bringing a total fool here just to cause trouble? Damien had no choice but to hide behind Chloe. Left with zero options, Chloe had to stand up and apologize. I'm sorry, everyone. Our fault. The crowd's attention finally returned to the auction. Damon breathed a deep sigh of relief and tried speaking to Chloe, but realized she was completely ignoring him. He just had to shut his mouth and lower his head. Just as he wondered how to win her back, a super familiar voice rang out through the room. 50 billion tall. Damon whipped his head around, glaring at me in pure shock. Alexander, if you have no idea what you are doing, just stay out. Are you not terrified President Sterling will be furious? His voice totally dripped with hostility. I smiled faintly. It is just pocket money my wife gave me. I am spending my cash. Micromanage that too. Stick with me here. My mind flashed straight back to the original plot. This auction was actually a secret microchip research project. The final price reached 1.8 trillion. If I remembered correctly, in exactly half a year, domestic chip technology would experience an absolutely massive breakthrough. Serena's 1.8 trillion investment would yield profits over 10 times that. She only vaguely understood the project, completely unaware it involved microchips. Her biggest, most lucrative businesses desperately needed a huge supply of chips. If things actually followed the original story, partnering with the military enterprise would make her the biggest winner, right behind the government itself. Serena shot a freezing glare right at meddling Damien, then turned to me with a very gentle smile. Husband, you handle this auction. Bid as high as you want. I have got your back. Just ignore those irrelevant clowns. Okay, I nodded. Sudden whispers broke out in the crowd. Who tries to micromanage how another guy spends his money, especially when the wife has not even said anything? What is that guy so anxious about? Damon's face instantly flushed bright crimson. He wanted to retort, but Chloe yanked him back. Shut up! He swallowed his words. The massive bidding quickly resumed, surpassing 1 trillion. Chloe was completely forced to withdraw due to lacking enough funds. At one point, 3 trillion, only Serena and one rival remained. Trust me, you and I want to see this. Let us dive in. I knew their absolute limit was 1.5 trillion, so I casually dropped 1.8. Instantly, our rivals folded. They simply lacked the massive cash needed to go toe-to-toe against mighty Serena. They could only watch as we easily snagged the grand prize. Then Damon absolutely lost it. Alexander, you are completely insane. Serena frowned, clearly annoyed. Chloe, Willow, keep your ridiculous pet on a tight leash. Family business is totally private, understood. The entire massive crowd in the hall erupted into completely uncontrollable laughter. This crazy scene would go down in history. Damon actually started crying, giving Chloe the absolute saddest puppy eyes. Chloe, I really only wanted to help. Chloe instantly regretted ever dragging this foolish guy to the massive elite event. How could he say something so incredibly deeply humiliating? Let us go. She stormed off fast, completely ignoring Damien, helplessly chasing right behind her. Curse you, Alexander. Without you here, I never would have embarrassed myself like this today. Reading his mind, I just pointed at myself. Are you joking? You completely embarrassed yourself and actually blamed me? Am I the scapegoat? Is this guy completely clueless? How is your massive loud mistake my personal fault? Serena gently stroked my hair. He did absolutely nothing and still takes the blame. My poor, sweet, innocent husband. Now pay attention here because you and I are thinking the exact same thing. Serena was totally baffled too. How did a foolish guy spouting bandit logic become the lead? Did he really think he was being charming? Starting tomorrow, Damien would become high society's biggest joke, absolutely dragging Chloe right down with him. How does her partner even have the sheer audacity to speak up today? I honestly thought about it. It is probably because powerful women always endlessly spoiled him. Whenever he desperately wanted something, people just handed it over on a shiny silver platter. He truly assumed a few sweet words could easily buy someone like you, too. Honestly, Damien completely relied on all the soft-hearted women who constantly refused to ever actually scold him. In their eyes, he was just an innocent, sweet puppy. He totally played dumb on purpose, constantly acting incredibly clueless and saying, "I am so silly. I am so sorry." Every single time he pulled that incredibly sad face, anyone who was furious would magically forgive his foolishness right on the spot. But sadly for him this time, he collided directly with Serena Sterling, the absolute ultimate apex predator boss. A fierce woman who completely conquered Wall Street years ago. Why would she ever fall for such obvious cheap tricks? A total lightweight like Damien could never make even a tiny ripple in her eyes. He completely wrongly assumed you could never flatly refuse him in front of massive crowds. Serena just rubbed her temples, letting out a very heavy sigh. Do I really look that incredibly weak? Does he truly think we are just wealthy fools? I patted her shoulder gently, signaling her to just ignore him. Serena tightly squeezed my hand with a strange look. We absolutely secured the big contract. Let us grab our incredible auction prizes and head straight home. We collected our shiny new jewelry and finally left. Stick with me, here is where it gets wild. Near the exit, Chloe and Damon were screaming. "Chloe, what do you mean I was just helping?" Damien cried loudly, totally playing the victim card. Chloe clearly mentioned the contract's massive importance, so he foolishly went and begged Serena to hand it over. Why was this his fault? For the very first time, Chloe truly felt like she totally misunderstood the strange man standing right in front of her. What is your exact true connection with Serena Sterling? Damon completely froze, shaking his head gently. He only bumped into Serena a few short times. Zero actual connection existed. Do you really think a massive business contract is just given away freely? Chloe was utterly speechless. Serena Sterling absolutely paid $1.8 trillion for that. You have absolutely zero connection to her. How did you boldly ask her to just hand it right over? Do you seriously lack all of your actual brain cells? How could you shout that in front of a giant crowd? Chloe was seriously drowning in intense regret for ever bringing Damon into this elite auction. She could perfectly picture her strict family's absolutely furious reaction when returning home. They already deeply disliked Damien. Now, after causing this giant disaster, she had absolutely no clue how long explaining herself would really take. Their official engagement now seemed completely impossible. Damon's tears were just pouring out. I really only wanted to help you. Damien, please actually think before speaking. Look at this mess. I cannot even imagine exactly how badly my nasty cousins will ruthlessly mock me now. Chloe dared not mention her wealthy family was already totally disgusted with him. Chloe, I wanted to help so badly that I completely ruined everything. I am so terribly sorry. Will you forgive me? Damon grabbed her arm, whining and shaking it softly. Sure enough, around Chloe, he definitely kept that glowing main character aura. Acting completely pathetic, easily guaranteed her unconditional forgiveness every single time. I know your intentions were sweet, but the world is not simple, especially Serena Sterling. She is absolutely not someone you can casually order around. Please be careful next time. She is incredibly dangerous. Chloe was absolutely terrified he might foolishly provoke the mighty Serena once again. So what do you and I take from this playing weak works? Damon nodded happily, ending their fight instantly. They walked out holding hands so closely. Damon completely dropped his distance act. I just sneered. Stick with me here. Damien seriously has that main character plot armor. No matter how huge his mistakes are, someone always jumps in to pity him. Serena scoffed coldly. Stupid people just stay stupid. Even as the male lead, he acts completely ridiculous. Anyone defending a guy like him must be clueless too. Honestly, just standing near someone like that would make me incredibly embarrassed. She was completely disgusted. How could Chloe just let this slide? This auction disaster will spread across high society before tomorrow morning hits. The Willow family will become a total joke, yet Chloe just forgave him without a thought. Can she not use her brain? Does the Willow family even know she is this deep in her own delusions? Leaning in close to Serena, I asked her curiously, "What is on your mind? I am guessing a scandal this massive will definitely reach the Willow family soon. A top-tier family turning into a complete joke over some guy. Tell me what happens to Chloe when she gets back home," Serena asked, clearly entertained. I honestly thought back to the original storyline then. She is definitely getting punished. In the original tale, Chloe lost all faith because of Damon and his ridiculous antics. Her family ordered her to cut him off completely. She refused, so they punished her by making her kneel all night in the ancestral hall. If she did not have genuine business talent, her title as the main heir would have been completely stolen by her younger sister. Serena nodded in total understanding. "What a shame we cannot watch it live. Let us go home." Meanwhile, as Chloe was still driving her way back, "Now pay attention here. Grandpa Willow just got a mocking call from a rival completely roasting his granddaughter for letting some guy beg Serena Sterling for a 1.8 trillion contract for free. Grandpa Willow was absolutely furious. Even if they lacked the funds, letting a guy harass someone was unacceptable. A 1.8 trillion contract, and he just demanded it from Serena Sterling right in front of hundreds of watching people. He actually had the nerve to say that. Claiming she had plenty of contracts, he wanted a massive 1.8 trillion asset completely for free. "Old Willow, tell me honestly, did you order them to do this?" The rivals sneered. Grandpa Willow was practically shaking with absolute rage. He slammed his phone down hard. His face looked as dark as a raging storm. He was already fuming over Damon and Alex canceling their engagement. Now this disaster pushed his anger to the breaking point. He grabbed another phone and quickly called Chloe. Spotting the caller ID, Chloe glanced at Damon. "Damon, do not say anything in a minute." She knew exactly why her grandfather was calling. "Where are you?" As soon as the call connected, Grandpa Willow absolutely roared. Chloe just played dumb. "Grandpa, I am on my way home. What is wrong?" "Did I not forbid bringing Damon to the auction? Why did you not listen? Now look what happened. The Willow family is the laughingstock of our social circle. Are you satisfied now?" "Grandpa, I will explain when I get home. I refuse to hear it. Get back here immediately." "Grandpa Willow, this has nothing to do with Chloe. It is my fault." Hearing Damon's voice, Grandpa Willow's rage exploded. He just cursed directly. "Who on earth do you think you are? I am speaking to my granddaughter. What right do you have to interrupt me?" Damien was scolded to the point of crying. "Grandpa Willow, I just wanted to help Chloe out. You used sweet talk to trick Chloe, but you cannot trick me. Are you completely stupid or just plain dumb? If you speak without thinking first, then keep your mouth totally shut. Since when does an outsider have the right to interfere in my family business?" We all felt that frustration, right? Chloe glared angrily at Damien and his pitiful act. She literally told him not to speak. "Grandpa, I will talk to you when I get home." She did not wait for his reply, instantly hanging up and pulling the car over. Noticing Chloe's angry reaction, Damon nervously lowered his head, refusing to meet her eyes. "Why did you not listen to me?" Chloe stared at him coldly. "You knew perfectly well that Grandpa was already furious. Why did you open your mouth?" If Damon had just stayed silent, she could have spun some excuse when she got home. But the second he opened his mouth, he enraged her grandfather way more. Damon just anxiously twisted his fingers. "Chloe, I just did not want you getting yelled at by Grandpa Willow. Was that so wrong?" "Damon, did I not warn you to stay quiet? Could you not hear how furious my grandfather sounded?" Chloe began to suspect he did it on purpose. "Chloe, you are definitely misunderstanding me." Seeing him cry pitifully, Chloe did not want to cuddle him for the first time. "Does crying solve the problem? Can you stop playing the victim every time you make a mistake? Your 2 sentences could literally cost me my position as the heir. Do you understand that?" Chloe gritted her teeth in anger. Damon completely panicked. "It is not that serious, right? Not that serious. Let that sink in for a second. Do you think my life in the Willow family is easy? My cousins wait for my mistakes, and you handed them an opportunity on a silver platter." Damien awkwardly wiped away his tears. "Then what can I do to help you?" "All right, stick with me here," Chloe finally snapped. "Just stop. Quit messing with my life and thinking your ridiculous tricks are actually helping me. Damien, if you mess up one more time, I seriously cannot save you." Chloe hated sounding harsh, but he was so oblivious. She had to be blunt. Damon stood completely frozen. What do you mean? Ever since I broke off my engagement with Alexander Grandpa and the whole family have been furious with you. They literally demanded I drop you. I risked everything, my entire future and status, just to keep you safe from them. And look at your stunt today. Chloe stared at Damon, heartbroken. He was absolutely panicking. I had no clue about any of this. If I knew, I never. Chloe cut him off. It wouldn't matter anyway. Nothing would change. Chloe shook her head, exhausted. She explicitly warned him to ignore her grandfather, but he still interfered. Don't you trust me? It is not about trusting you. It is the reckless things you do that ruin my trust. Chloe sighed. Honestly, his naive troublemaking used to be cute to her. But now this non-stop habit of sparking disasters was just giving her a massive headache. Like they always say, you only care when it is your own problem. She was completely done talking. She drove Damon home. Chloe, about today, I am so sorry. I know I totally messed up. Damon stared at her, looking determined. If you want me to explain, I definitely will. Now watch closely, things are about to get tense. Chloe froze. No need. If he tried explaining, her family would definitely disown her. Damon opened his mouth to argue, but Chloe already hit the gas, leaving him staring at her taillights. He frowned heavily. He never expected Chloe to act this cold. Today was definitely a massive mistake on his part. Usually whenever something crazy happened, Chloe was right there, fiercely defending him against the whole entire world. But this time she was actually furious. Damon felt a sharp sting of regret. He really should have listened and avoided poking Grandpa Willow. Trying to fix things, he called Chloe repeatedly to apologize, but it kept ringing to voicemail. He furrowed his brow. Is Chloe actually furious? It cannot be that bad, right? Actually, Chloe saw every single call. She just was not in the mood anymore. Heading inside the Willow estate, the second she opened the door, Grandpa Willow was glaring, gripping a heavy cane. Her parents and cousins were all lined up. Seeing this terrifying setup, she knew today was going to be brutal. Chloe silently approached Grandpa Willow and kneeled. Crack the cane lashed her back fiercely. You rejected the incredible fiancé I found for you. Now look at the absolute garbage you brought home. Even Alexander, who just returned, is 1,000,000 times better than Damien. Alexander actually played chess and walked with me. What does Damon do besides eat and look pathetic? Grandpa Willow was absolutely seething. Do you know how many people mocked us today? They laughed, saying we were too broke, sending Damon to beg for huge contracts. Chloe, you have completely ruined this family's proud reputation today. Are you proud? Grandpa, I will explain. Save your breath. I know exactly what he did. Damien is not malicious. Hearing her defend him made Grandpa explode. I know what you're thinking, worst timing ever, right? Chloe's phone started ringing like crazy. Calling right now was essentially a total disaster. Grandpa Willow barked, "Put it on speaker. Let us hear his excuses." Chloe hesitated, knowing this would end horribly. But under her grandfather's terrifying glare, she yielded. Instantly, Damon's whiny voice echoed across the quiet room. Chloe, are you mad at me? Is Grandpa Willow upset too? Just tell me, and I will gladly go explain everything to them. He stupidly thought they were talking privately, completely clueless that the entire furious Willow family was listening in silently. Chloe felt a massive headache hitting. I am busy. I will call later. Panicking about his next words, she tried hanging up. No, I need to explain things to Grandpa Willow. What if they completely misunderstand? Plus, it is totally their fault for not having enough cash ready. Why blame you for that? Damon complained effortlessly, throwing the whole family under the bus. The Willow family was so furious they laughed. Chloe's face turned completely pale. Damon, shut up. Who casually drops 1.8 trillion in liquid cash? To him, was that nothing? How much was actually enough? Damon whined. I am not wrong. Why get so mad? So what do you and I make of this total disaster? Absolute madness. Let's jump right into the drama. Stop being mad. Okay, let's go out and have fun. He actually thought sweet-talking Chloe for 5 minutes would magically make every single thing blow over. Grandpa Willow couldn't stand this nonsense anymore. He laughed coldly. Damien, the Willow family's internal affairs really do not need an arrogant outsider like you dictating them. Damien, who was busy playing the helpless victim with Chloe, went completely pale hearing Grandpa Willow's booming voice. Everyone is mocking our family, and you think one little apology fixes it. You truly are an absolute master at creating total disasters and then pretending to be the innocent victim. Damien's voice started shaking. Chloe, why did you let them hear our private call? He sounded totally frantic, completely unable to believe that Grandpa Willow just heard every single ridiculous thing. He practically wanted to faint. I told you to wait until I handled things before calling, but you just wouldn't listen. Chloe sighed out helplessly. Young Master Wood, this old man doesn't dare accept you calling me Grandpa Willow stated with zero expression. I heard Chloe bought you a highly valuable piece of jewelry at that auction. I fully expect young Master Wood to return it. We worked very hard for that money, so do not come finding Chloe anymore. The Willow family simply isn't worthy of a wealthy young master like you. As for his movie resources, filming was already completely finished anyway. Even if they felt unhappy, they couldn't do anything. Chloe tried to speak, but Grandpa Willow's glare silenced her, especially after hearing the jewelry must be returned. Damien panicked and stomped around. Chloe, I am so sorry. I really didn't mean to say those things. Please forgive me. Chloe stayed totally silent. Damien always apologized, always crying that he never meant to. But honestly, the guy just had zero brains. These wild situations were so easily avoidable, but he stubbornly refused to listen. Nothing that happened today was an accident. Chloe was finally sick of his dramatic behavior. Damien's foolish actions were a ringing slap to her face. His petty little calculations were glaringly obvious. Now pay close attention here. He intentionally said all that to drive a wedge between her and her family, playing the victim. But he totally never expected Chloe to see right through his little scheme. Damien immediately switched right back into his victim persona. Chloe, things have reached this point and you still misunderstand me. You know I'm not that kind of guy, only you know if you truly are or not. Chloe couldn't even be bothered to argue with him. Damien tried explaining further, but the call was just abruptly disconnected. When he tried calling back, absolutely no one answered. Grandpa Willow watched Chloe hang up and coldly said, Chloe, this is the guy you gambled your entire future to protect. In what wild universe is he better than Alexander? Compared to Alexander, where exactly does this greedy leech excel? I honestly still do not understand why you dumped Alexander for him. Chloe stayed silent on this point. She had to quietly admit Damien was definitely inferior to Alexander, remembering his actual good qualities. Her feelings were complex, even feeling slightly regretful. I will give you two choices. One, give up your heir position. Our family does not need someone who cannot distinguish right from wrong. Two, listen to us and get engaged to the person we choose. The decision regarding this engagement was actually finalized today. Seeing Damien's ridiculous behavior, Grandpa Willow genuinely feared for the future of the entire family. We all saw this coming, right? Chloe refused to lose her heir status, agreeing instantly. Grandpa, I choose the engagement. Her calculation here was very simple. As long as she fully controlled the Willow family, she could do whatever she wanted. Even if she wanted to break the engagement later, she could just easily say so. Mrs. Willow instantly saw right through her daughter's clever thoughts, sighing in deep disappointment. Chloe, do you seriously still think that once you control the family, you can do whatever you want? Ever since you poured all your attention into Damien, I have been extremely dissatisfied. As a woman, I know exactly what kind of person he truly is. But you completely refuse to see it. You just think we are making things difficult for him. What exactly is so amazing about Damien that you passionately defend him like this? I will not even mention the other crazy things today. You know in your heart it was clearly Damien's total stupidity causing this mess, yet he still blamed our family. Do you not find that totally ridiculous? He even tried driving a wedge between you and us. Does he not realize that to prepare for this bid, our family pulled every single cent of our liquid assets and he complained it just wasn't enough? Logically, growing up in the Wood family, he should not be this ignorant. Yet he still spouted such idiotic nonsense. Aside from him doing it completely on purpose, I cannot think of any other reason. You need to give the family a real answer. Chloe finally realized that someone raised in the Wood family shouldn't have caused a wild scene at an auction. He definitely did it on purpose. He thought his old tricks would work perfectly, that acting cute made everyone obey him. He definitely didn't expect to hit a solid steel wall this time. Let's enjoy this satisfying finale, Mrs. Willow coldly said. I need no answers. Just retrieve the money spent on him at the auction. Stick with me, watch what happens when Chloe hesitates to cut ties with Damon today. Seeing her doubt, Mrs. Willow was absolutely frustrated. She turned to Grandpa Willow. Just forget it. She threw away this huge chance. The girl has lost her mind, still obsessed with Damien. Forcing this engagement would only create massive enemies for our family anyway. Mrs. Willow glared at Chloe with pure disappointment. She refused to let her daughter ruin another family. Grandpa Willow noticed her doubt. His voice dropped low. Stella's starting tomorrow, take over all your sister's heavy duties. Chloe, if you refused to leave Damien, you are no longer the heir to this family. Even though Stella was younger, her business skills were totally top tier. Watching her massive power get handed to her little sister Chloe completely panicked. Grandpa, I will follow your rules. Please stop this. Do whatever you want. The engagement is canceled. Grandpa Willow refused to repeat the Wood family disaster. Standing up, he faced the crowd. We are done today. Use your own skills now. Whoever proves themselves worthy gets the big opportunity. Chloe's cousins grinned widely. A quiet girl stepped up, her eyes fully determined. Grandpa, if I score huge results, can I get my sister's chances? Grandpa Willow stared at her. Absolutely, work here or launch your own startup company. It is entirely your choice. I want my own startup. Grandpa, I will absolutely prove I am better than my sister. Grandpa Willow handed her $5 million in startup cash, asking no further questions. Now pay attention here. With that $5 million, she becomes an absolute legend. This wild twist left Chloe standing there completely stunned. She never imagined her tiny moment of hesitation would cause this huge disaster. Chloe, you threw away our family pride for a guy. Giving your power to your capable cousins is only fair now. Think about your mistakes. Grandpa Willow finished speaking and turned away. Stella approached Chloe with a thankful smile. Big sister, thank you so much for giving me this huge opportunity. Because Chloe was always the star, nobody else in this family ever got a chance to truly shine. Who knew she would trigger the elders over some guy? Her youngest sister stepped up, sneering. I warned you about hanging with Damien. You called us totally biased against him. Look at yourself now. Perfect karma. Second sister, please protect me from now on. Mia and Stella clearly had a better bond than Chloe. Watching her second sister grab the power made her way happier than when her oldest sister ran the show. Stella gently ruffled her sister's hair. Just study hard. I will buy whatever you want. Second sister is the best. You and I both saw this coming, right? Alexander was amazing, but she chased a two-faced snake and threw it all away. Mia scoffed coldly. Chloe turned completely pale, glaring back intensely. Stella shielded her little sister, staring right at Chloe. Big sister, you ruined everything all by yourself. Stop taking your rage out on Mia. Go to school. Mia pouted, skipping over to Mrs. Willow. Mom, my allowance is gone. Please send me more. Mrs. Willow wired the cash, ordering the driver to school. Chloe, you messed up. Reflect on your own choices. Stop using us as punching bags. She finally left. The family exchanged quick looks and scattered. Everyone rushed off to snatch up Chloe's remaining power. Heading to school, Mia called me up. Brother Alex, Chloe was so dumb. Grandpa stripped her of all power. Hearing this crazy news, I paused to think. Her older sister loses status, and this little sister is absolutely thrilled about it. Before I could reply, Mia spilled all the tea, enthusiastically recounting the entire family drama. I listened with pure amusement. Damon is wildly bold for calling and sparking chaos between Chloe and Grandpa Willow. Is his brain completely broken? I will tell you if more news drops. Almost at school, Mia cheered, bubbling with excitement. I hung up, tossed my phone, and laughed hysterically. Serena stepped out of the shower, catching me rolling on the bed in complete hysterics. She walked over, kissing me. What is so funny? Mia called. Grandpa Willow just stripped Chloe's power. Now whoever is the smartest in the family gets all the real authority. I happily gloated. All because Damon called Chloe right in front of Grandpa Willow, playing the victim and whining about not getting enough money. So pathetic. So what do you and I make of this? Damon is insane. Let's see what happens next. 1 trillion was the absolute maximum liquid cash the Willow family could scrape together. And this guy actually complained it was nothing. Stick with me here. Just how broken is his ego? Serena seriously started doubting how this main character even functioned. Chloe completely brought this upon herself. I just nodded along. Honestly, all she had to do was obey Grandpa Willow and finally dump Damien. Everything would have been perfectly fine. But no, she refused. Now the entire Willow family lost all their faith entirely because of him. How could they ever let that slide? Oh, and get this, something even funnier happened. I looked at Serena, totally thrilled. What is making you so incredibly excited? That shiny bracelet Chloe bought for Damon at the big auction. The Willow family practically demanded she take it back. Serena saw absolutely zero issues with this. Taking back your own money is just common sense. But knowing Damon, if he actually returns it, he will lose a massive amount of face. Now watch closely. He will absolutely hunt for his next target. Serena narrowed her eyes. Damon definitely has way more backup plans than just Chloe. Since Chloe lost her proper heir status, the actual perks she can offer him are drastically cut down. With an ego and ambition that massive, how could he ever be satisfied staying in his current situation? I leaned back against Serena, listening to her flawless breakdown, and just nodded along. Exactly right. Next on the list was that famous director who just returned to the country. Right then, I was holding Serena close, desperately trying to figure out how to pitch my idea. I wanted my wife to sign a huge contract and invest in this director's upcoming blockbuster movie. We both saw this coming, right? This exact movie made Chloe rich. A $200 million investment pulled a $3 billion box office, guaranteeing insane profits. Hearing my wild inner thoughts, Serena suddenly looked incredibly interested. Husband, do you know what other shady connections Damon has? Anything we can exploit? Hearing her actually ask, my eyes completely lit up. I jumped right into it. There really is someone, Clara, a brilliant young female director who just returned from studying abroad. She literally holds a guaranteed smash hit movie right now. She just got back. Why not sign her and invest immediately? I stared at Serena with pure anticipation, basically begging my wife to just throw endless money at it. Serena playfully pinched my cheek and pulled me into her arms. She agreed to try. I was beyond excited, planting a huge kiss on her cheek. And trust me, you and I absolutely love seeing a brilliant master plan come together perfectly. You are truly the absolute best.